45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I will let her eat half a jar if I can eat half as spicy wings. If I
No. That I'm looking forward to quite a
There's no
bit.
bargaining allowed as the boss. You're not going to let us do that?
That one he's not getting out of.
I've never seen the true face of a coward like I saw when I heard Perloff talking about the spicy boneless. True fear. You seem a little worried, Maggie. Perloff
I'm hiding it.
is
Deathly
very
afraid.
scared,
Yes.
like a child who was told that there was a monster under the bed. That's how
Boogeyman is here.
Yeah.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Happy Smack Off Day. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We will get all the nitty-gritty details of how Perloff handled the 10 spicy wings that he ate yesterday. But we got a lot to get to. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, we're across the country on CBS Sports Radio. Forgive me about this, but there's part of me that's kind of happy that James Harden and Kyrie Irving don't have these massive markets. Maybe for once, people in the NBA are actually wising up here. Maybe it's not a great idea to hand James Harden a boatload of money when he's 33 years old and he's not a winning player. Maybe it's not a great idea to completely max out Kyrie Irving when every place he's been to since he won the title in Cleveland, he's left in worse shape. Maybe, Perloff, the NBA is finally getting a clue here.
Yeah, but I wonder, though, I don't think the market in the future is going to play out like that because these are two really declining players who also are very limited defensively. There's going to be some big free agents in coming years who are going to max out easily.
Yeah, but the NBA had gotten into a place where it almost didn't matter. If you're in your prime, not in your prime, there would be places willing to give you money and take you in. We just saw this with Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Lakers. Nobody thought that was going to be a good idea. Yet what happened? Because of player empowerment, because LeBron James wanted to play with Westbrook, they moved heaven and earth to get Westbrook to LA, and it ended up crashing and burning. He even found a way to stay in LA, so whatever, that's fine, playing for the Clippers. Maybe, though, with what is going on now with Harden, where it doesn't feel like the takers, how few of them there are out there, it looks like maybe the Clippers, and I don't even know what else is real, that they're not willing to just say, oh, because you were a former MVP, because you have this reputation, we're going to throw all this money at you.
Yeah, no duh. I mean,
that wasn't always a given. You're making it seem like that. The NBA has been hip to this for a while. That's not true.
well, who's as old as Harden, turning 34, has ever signed a free agent contract like that? I mean, I guess KD has. But listen, obviously Kevin Durant.
KD just got traded for 4 first-round picks, multiple pick swaps.
But KD's all-timer. KD will still get that money. Guys who are good will still get that money. I know the second apron is coming, right? The second apron keeper.
The dreaded torture chamber of...
The new salary cap's coming. But I don't think the NBA has changed their ideas on spending at all. I think it's these two specific players are viewed very suspiciously. And I think the's a reason that they're on the market.
Yeah, they deserve to be treated suspiciously.
Right, but there's so many good players who will not be treated suspiciously. So many.
Well, I'll add on top of it just what a terrible job Washington did by giving Bradley Beal a no-trade clause. There will not be a no-trade clause again. I can't imagine. Victor Wembanyama is going to have to turn into the second coming of LeBron mixed with Tim Duncan for him to get a no-trade clause. No team should be dumb enough to do that again. And he didn't even have that much leverage, in my opinion. So maybe the teams are wising up. Listen, I'm all for player empowerment. I like when players have a seat at the table and when they can have some say over their future. But it might have been getting too far, swinging the other way that end of the bell curve and that end of the pendulum, where James Harden can literally quit on two teams on the court and still find takers and still find a home and still be treated like a superstar.
So you think the reason his value is down is because he burned these teams?
I think the reason his value is down is because he's not a crunch time player. And
so if he burned these teams and he was a crunch time player,
well, I don't know. Maybe we'd see something a little bit bigger. But no, bad behavior in superstars has been tolerated for forever. That's sports.
And I'm saying I don't think that this is any proof that bad behavior is discouraged at all. I think this is proof that turning 34 and watching your production decline is not good. If he was a complete jerk, total, just the worst guy in the world, if he was taller and more efficient and could cover Jokic and could help you win a title, he could be the worst dude ever, and they would pay him all the money. I don't think they care about this player empowerment or guys demanding trades, because like you said, Kevin Durant has done the same thing, and everybody wanted him. So I think it's really the quality of player. I don't think it's their attitude towards the teams.
There's another part of this too, which is you would just have to be crazy. Like, I'm looking at the Clippers, and they're going to have, potentially, if they do trade for Harden, they would have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and James Harden. That may go down in history as the worst big three of all time. And Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, and Kobe was terrible because they barely all played together.
Right.
Because Steve Nash got hurt.
Pierce, Garnett, Darren Williams was probably the worst.
It was awful.
KD, James Harden, and who was the third? Kyrie.
Kyrie, also bad. And this one could be worse.
How could they be worse than that?
No one's going to play.
Well,
Kawhi never plays. Paul George never plays.
That trio never won a playoff game, did they? Or
they won a playoff game.
Were they all on the court for that playoff game?
Well, they weren't all on the court, but this was a Kevin Durant, a big toe away from.
Right. My point is,
Milwaukee.
did the big three ever play together? Was one of them out for that?
I think they played one playoff game together.
Okay.
I believe.
So at least this big three can beat that.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they definitely can.
How do you know any of those guys would be healthy for the postseason?
Well, listen, Kawhi is awesome. And he looked amazing when he came back last year.
Yeah.
So he could carry these guys.
Carry them to what? He never plays. He got hurt in the postseason. Yes, he's awesome when he plays, but he doesn't play nearly enough.
Well, I think they can win a playoff game.
A playoff game,
which will make them infinitely better than some of these other big threes. But here's the other issue: the Clippers have no options here. They basically have to take a swing at something. It's a wild swing. They're pinned in such a way with their salary cap structure that they're desperate. And you know what? When you make desperate moves as a team, what happens? It rarely works out.
I just don't
so
know.
They're taking a desperate swing here because they have nothing else they can do.
Okay, but desperate swing, or you're throwing bad money after bad money.
Well,
right?
They're not re-signing him. I mean, they're going to do this $35 million thing, which is basically pocket change in the NBA. So is that throwing bad money after bad money?
Well, let's figure out, if you don't give him an extension, how does James Harden then show up to L.A.?
Well,
do you think he shows up as the motivated guy who's there to prove everyone wrong, or does he show up kind of ticked off that he actually is a former MVP who's got to play in a contract year and does not like the way he's being treated?
That's Kyrie's MO, right?
That could be Kyrie's MO.
That's what Kyrie does. I think Harden could be motivated.
You're out of your mind. What motivates Harden? The champagne room? The champagne room now. He's got more money than God. I mean, more money now?
So if he doesn't show up, then the Clippers, it's a one-year rental. It's a low risk. They're not giving up anybody for him. I saw the players that they're shopping. It's like the Nicholas Batums of the world.
Right. But does it get you any closer to a title? Does it get you further away? You'd almost be better off just blowing it up then.
Yeah, I understand. Listen, there's very few teams where I would say I kind of get why you're going after Harden. Now, my first reaction when the news came out they were going to trade him, I'm like, oh, I hope they trade him within the conference so the Sixers have a better chance of getting the finals. Like, he could easily kill the Knicks. He could kill the Heat.
Like, implode them.
Right.
Yeah.
But those are legit title contenders. Right now, if the Clippers don't add Harden, they have no chance of the title either. They need to try something.
I don't know if I do this. 855-2124-CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, as we say here most days, but it's true, we got a lot going on today. We finish out our great debate series, greatest sports movies. Now, if you're just joining us, or if this is the first time you're listening to us this week, we've been ranking our top 5 greatest sports movies. We've been doing it by sport. So Monday we did baseball, Tuesday we did boxing, Wednesday we did football, Yesterday, we did basketball. Today, we are doing something we're calling sports catch-all. So it's not one specific sport. It's Perloff and I, our top fives. We're not going to use any movies that we've used already this week. So no overlap. So all the Bull Durhams and all of the Any Given Sundays, those are done. But this is a sports catch-all, and we're going to reveal those top fives next.
You're not going to use this opportunity to get Hoosiers on your list?
I did not put Hoosiers on my list for basketball movies.
Yeah,
no.
let's bury that one. That is not getting a good reaction.
No, it didn't.
Listen, I had a couple that I totally whiffed on, too. I like this category because it's so broad. By the way, are you a little worried? You have to admit it.
About what?
So, Phillies made it to the World Series last year.
Yeah.
The Eagles made it to the World Series last year.
Wearing his brotherly love hat, by the way.
It's just a matter of days. Damian Lillard's coming to Philly, and the Sixers are making the finals. You are going to be sitting next to, like, the ultimate winner. Well, it's happening. You know that this is where that's going.
You know, I hope so. I kind of hope so. Because here, I know we're on in Portland, and I know this has been like a back and forth kind of thing. But if it ends up being Tyrese Maxey, and if it ends up being like a good package that goes back to Portland that makes sense, I think this could be good for Portland. Because the Sixers have good pieces, and if Portland can get a little something from Philly, then I do like it for both sides, yeah.
Right, so clear Harden out of the way. I mean, it just seems to fit very well. I know Miami wants Damian Lillard too, but that's why I was so excited yesterday, because I think the Sixers, by losing Harden, obviously addition by subtraction, exactly what you were saying. But now, if they get 2 future firsts out of the Clippers, I mean, there's a lot of options here. 2 future firsts. I mean, we're just talking about how Harden has no value. Where do the 2 future firsts come from? That's what everyone's floating out there. It's a bunch of scrubs and 2 future firsts. Okay. No, I understand why you're flummoxed at it. But I don't know. It just feels like after I ate the 10 wings yesterday, and after they were able to get rid of Harden, it feels like anything is possible in Andrew Perloff's life. Like, I don't know if I'm going to win the lottery now. Like, I have no idea. Like, I'm not usually a lucky person, Maggie, but this just feels like everything's coming up Perloff. Honestly, you took down the wings like a champ. I told our mutual friend Sully, you unlocked a new level of hero yesterday. I mean, it was 10 of the spiciest wings you can find in America. Perloff could not drink anything while also eating the wings. So you're putting down just spice, and you can't even cool it off with like milk or water or orange juice, whatever you had. You did that like a champion. And then we get the Woj bomb that Harden's going to be gone. What a day. Wow. This is really everything's coming up in the house. What a day. Not the greatest night I've ever had. I'm not going to lie to you. Oh, no. How much detail do you want to give us? Not a lot of detail that's appropriate for a family radio show. We're a lunchtime show for a lot of the country, too. So maybe. Yeah. Let's just say. Don't bite into a sandwich. As happy as I was about the Harden news, I was miserable about other news in my life. But today I'm free and clear. How good? It's good. Nothing spicy. Lighter? Feeling lighter? I'm feeling lighter. Yes. Last night, we should really talk about it. Yeah, last night was rough. It definitely, everything I'd read about eating that kind of food is totally true. Wow. I did notice that your tweeting did increase. All of a sudden, it was like, wow, Perloff's extremely online tonight. Elon Musk should come out with that function. Sent from the bathroom. We just all assume. I think it's all some of our best work. I mean, can we admit that? Perloff's like, I did Wordle and the crossword and another Wordle. Good for you. Oh, big Sudoku guy. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. The Weedos and the Purple Drankers are already live in the chat. You want to join along, watch the show, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Of course, you can find us on all of our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates nationwide. Sirius XM Channel 158, the free Odyssey app, yes? But I am also another bad move. We have Connor Green on the board today. Yeah, what about him? Did you ever hear the story of how he fooled me on Twitter? It's the most insane, idiotic move Perloff's ever made. We should save this because you will enjoy it so much. It takes 2 seconds, but he totally got me. When Perloff gets fooled by the internet, it's the best. You weren't the only one. There were a couple people that got fooled by that. Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Oh, it's good, Maggie. You'll appreciate it because Connor is seems like a humble, nice, coworker. No. Total baller online. Stone cold killer. So we got Connor here today. We've got Stu here today. So here's a little what's going to go on. Coming up next, we're going to do our top 5 best sports movies, the catch-all category. So not tied to any one sport like we've been doing all week in our great debate series. Coming up in the next hour of the show, the award-winning actor
who has been in several of these great sports movies. The one and only Robert Wuhl is going to join us at the top of the next hour. You might know him as Arliss. He was in Bull Durham. He was in Blue Chips. He was in Cobb. He was also in the original Batman, not a sports movie, but just a personal fave.
No, the Batman where Bane took over the Pittsburgh Steelers stadium. That's a sports movie.
Maybe, because it does involve
But
a
I don't think
stadium.
he was in that one.
No, I'm not sure about that, but he was in the original Michael Keaton with Kim Basinger and Jack Nicholson. Robert Wuhl, you definitely know him. Again, award-winning actor. He's going to join us, and he's also got his top 5.
Ooh,
yes.
That's awesome.
So we've got a lot to do. If you're new to the show, again, we know it's a big audience coming off the Smack Off. We also do something here on Fridays called the Advice Duck, where I wear a duck suit and I answer questions that people need advice from. It's kind of a long story of how it got there, but just know that I definitely lost a bet.
Once again, the Maggie and Perloff Show, there's a lot going on.
Got a lot going on. Glad to have you, though. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Don't move. We do our top 5 greatest sports movies, the catch-all division, next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Oh, Maggie, this is so great. Connor Green is working the board today, and I'm looking at, he had this tweet over the winter. Must have snowed in New York City, and he has like a, I don't know, $30 million apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows, saying nothing like these views from my apartment when it snows. Connor is a great follow. It's Connor_Green51, 600 followers. This photo has 113,000 views, went totally viral, and the responses are amazing.
Wait, I didn't realize it went viral. I mean,
yeah, I think it was Evan Roberts at WFAN like quote tweeted it, and then that got it going a little bit. But it's like people that were like famous were like liking that tweet. It was bizarre.
Like anyone you can care to remember?
Meredith, I think it was Meredith Marakovitz from Yes.
Okay.
Like liked it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
New York celebrities. That Meredith does a great job. She's a pregame and postgame on Yes.
One of my favorite replies, someone who identifies themselves as Connor Green's #1 fan wrote, "Can I come over?" And Connor just replied, "Never."
I do not know who that person is, and I've tried to figure it out. I have no idea.
Wait, you have a Connor Green #1 fan
Connor,
Twitter?
it's my burner.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was me.
It's Kevin Durant.
He loves you. 855-212-4227. Welcome to Maggie and Perloff. Lot to do. We're going to reveal our top 5 greatest sports movies. The catch-all division as part of our great sports debate series continues. But first to the phones at 855-212-4227. Jeff is in Pittsburgh with an idea. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Well, Perloff's doing better today. I'm doing excellent.
All right. Got a little idea here. You guys have really stepped your eating game up and stuff. Now, that being said, I don't want to create controversy, but the DA show kind of says, these guys are kind of taking our ideas. We're the eating show.
Right.
So I say it's time for mano a mano. Perloff versus the mighty Mraz.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. That's a heavyweight bout. I mean, for Marash, literally. So, Jeff, let's put a pin in that for a second, because that criticism did find its way to me, that, maybe we were trying to tread on their territory because you did a peanut butter eating challenge where you ate a jar and a half of peanut butter. I ate a jar of jelly. Do people not see the theme here? Soon Stu's going to eat a loaf of bread. Like, we don't have to be rocket scientists to figure out where this is going. So, Stu, get ready for that. But here's the thing. You can't claim food challenges. People have been doing this, not just on DA, and I love DA. We're friends. I love everyone on that show. They've had me on several times. They've been on this show. We're all good. You can't claim an eating challenge. It's like claiming a top 5 list or claiming a Mount Rushmore. You can't have the market cornered on that stuff.
More importantly, you cannot pin me against Sean Marash in the eating battle. If that's the debate, I'm out. Because, I'm sorry, if they want to have a champion off of where it's eating, like maybe me and Maggie combined against Marash. Is that fair? I don't even think.
Handicap it a little bit?
Even that. Actually, we'll take Stu, the 3 of us against Marash. It's like when Andre the Giant used to wrestle. You have to wrestle 2 guys. I'm not taking on Marash.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm kind of neutral. I am a DA alien, but I love your guys' show, too.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome to love all the shows here on CBS Sports Radio. Thanks, Jeff. We call our, diehard fans weedos. They're weirdos that smoke a lot of weed. So they're the weedos, the purple drinkers as well, because apparently they like that too.
You don't have to smoke weed to be in the chat.
No, you don't. But they're a very friendly bunch.
Yeah.
You can find them youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio in our chat. But yeah, you can't claim food challenges. You know?
I feel like I did a ton of them at Dan Patrick's show all the time.
Yeah, if anything, you guys were doing them.
Well,
you guys were dumping things over your heads a lot over there.
We got a lot of pies to the face.
Yes.
But I think Benny Hill claimed that. I mean, that's been ever since English humor started, people have been throwing pies at people's faces. I do think the spicy wings especially has been done a lot. I think the peanut butter and the jelly were a little more unique because nobody in their right mind would want to eat 2 jars of peanut butter or 1 jar of jelly in a sitting.
I know, and you and I made a big mistake.
Huge mistake.
Ken Fang, a friend of ours on Twitter, thought that Perloff should have to eat alligator or frog's legs, to which you said, that's fine. That's like a delicacy.
Well, alligator's fine. I've eaten alligator at tailgates before. That's very commonly barbecued now or grilled. The frog's legs, that doesn't sound that gross. It is a
delicacy in France. You could not catch me dead doing something like that.
I don't even think it's a delicacy. I think it's a food in France.
Oh, eating on the street like a hot dog?
Yeah, I mean, it's like people eat snails. No one thinks that's gross.
Yeah, I've had a snail. I'm not eating a frog's leg.
The 1,000-year egg. I think our buddy, remember we had Man vs. Foods, Casey Webb on?
Yeah.
I think he's done the 1,000-year egg. That's a pretty common food show thing. It's nasty.
You going to do that?
Yeah. I'd love to do that.
And we already established, it's not like you have an iron stomach or anything. You're just
I have a pretty good stomach.
Except for last night.
Yeah, well, listen, at least I got through the challenge. I mean, speaking of Sean Barash, I got out of the studio before I relieved myself.
Yeah. Not the same could be said for Mr. Morash. Okay, let's get to our top 5 greatest movies of all time.
The Great Debate Series. Best Sports Movies.
Okay, so again, if you're just joining us or if you haven't been with us all week, we've been doing top 5 best sports movies by sport all week long. Monday was baseball. Tuesday was boxing. Wednesday was football. Yesterday was basketball. And we needed like a catch-all category, and that's what we're doing today.
Yes, so it's not you said the greatest sports movies. I think this could be confused to be the 5 best sports movies of all time. It's not.
No.
It's just the ones that didn't fit into the other categories.
Yeah, so we're calling it a catch-all. So bear with us on this one and let us know what you think.
And definitely, these are 5 of the greatest sports movies, both our lists. I could say confidently.
I mean, I think we did a really good job here. Would you like me to go?
Well, actually, can I say that these are 5 of the best movies on both our lists? I don't know if they're sports movies.
Well,
just saying.
That's where the debate may come in. So, all right, let me kick it off. Number 5 on my list, The Big Lebowski.
I see you roll your way into the semis. Dios mío, man. Liam and me, we're gonna you up.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's amazing. The dude, it's so good. And to me, this is a sports movie because of all the bowling that is so prominently displayed and focused on in this movie. It's not a bowling movie per se. It's definitely a Coen Brothers weird kind of pseudo heist movie, but this has so much bowling in it. I think that it applies.
Man, I should have put Kingpin on my list. I forgot about Kingpin. But
Just
Kingpin
Bill Murray's
was
hair alone.
Professional bowling. This was league bowling. Does that make it a sport movie?
Well, we've had Bull Durham was minor league baseball.
Yeah, minor
and
league
Little Giants was, youth football. It doesn't have to be pros.
Minor league baseball and what they're doing in Big Lebowski are not the same thing.
Okay. Well, I put Teen Wolf on my best basketball movie.
Well,
that's high school basketball.
Yeah, but I didn't. And at least that's high school basketball. This is league bowling.
All right, let's move on. Number 4 on my list is Talladega Nights.
Or as our brothers to the south call you, Jesus, we thank you so much for this bountiful harvest of Domino's, KFC, and the always delicious Taco Bell. I just want to take time to say thank you for my family, my 2 beautiful, handsome, striking sons, Walker and Texas Ranger, or TR as we call them. And of course, my red-hot smoking wife, Carly, who's a stone-cold fox. Who, if you were to rate her ass on 100, it would easily be a 94.
It's so good. Talladega Nights. Will Ferrell, Adam McKay is the director. Of course, John C. Reilly. Sacha Baron Cohen, phenomenal in this movie as well. Gary Cole. I mean, Amy Adams, of course. There's just so many excellent performances. Number 4 on my list. Number 3. You know you love it. Cool Runnings.
Ready? Ready. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's bobsled time. Cool Runnings.
Love Cool Runnings. Anything that John Candy is in immediately goes higher up on my list. It's the feel-good movie. It's got the underdog story. It's got the tears, the relationships, the friendships, the inclusion, overcoming things, all of it. It might be one of the perfect sports movies, and it's number 3 on my list.
And it's definitely a sports movie.
Yes. As opposed to my next one on my list. Number 2, Best in Show.
He didn't want to dance. I was like dancing by myself.
I did not want to dance because...
Say, get up, Jerry.
I kept saying, I can't dance. I can't. I've got 2 left feet. I
thought he was kidding.
But I wasn't. I was born with 2 left feet.
This is the most incredible, and if you love the TV show that Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy were in, can I say it on the air? You Know What Creek? People get weird about that sometimes, even though it's not the real curse word. But they're excellent in this. Jennifer Coolidge, who of course was Stifler's mom and also in White Lotus, she's in this as incredible. Fred Willard as the commentator on the Best in Show dog show, incredible. Parker Posey is phenomenal. It's all Christopher Guest, obviously. Michael McKean, amazing. Bob Balaban. I'm leaving people out. It's the best movie, and I believe a dog show and a competition does suffice as a sports movie.
Okay. I mean, it does. It gets on sports networks. SportsCenter does run the dog show, so
right?
I'll give you that.
Okay, thank you. And then number 1 on my list, it's got to be Caddyshack.
So I tell them I'm a pro, Jack. And who do you think they give me? The Dalai Lama himself, the 12th son of the Lama. The flowing robes, the grace, bald, striking. So I'm on a first tee with him. I give him the driver. He hauls off and whacks one. Big hitter, the Lama. Long. Into a 10,000-foot crevice right at the base of this glacier. Do you know what the Lama says?
No.
Gunga, galunga. Gunga, gunga, gunga. So we finish 18, and he's going to stiff me. And I say, hey, Lama, hey, how about a little something, for the effort, And he says, there won't be any money. But when you die, on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going. Which is nice.
There you go. Caddyshack is my number 1. So just to recap, Big Lebowski 5, Talladega Nights 4, 3 is Cool Runnings, 2 Best in Show, number 1 Caddyshack. Perloff, you're up.
Okay, that was a good list. Nominally sports movies, but I will let you go with that. Our number 5. If you're a sports fan, you probably know this music. Chariots of Fire. Even Ackles, he wants to go out and run in the sand now.
Cry.
So this is one of the very few sports movies. It won the Oscar, I believe. It's an unbelievable movie. I'm probably too old. A lot of people haven't seen it, but it's great. It's about the 1920 Olympics. It sounds so boring, I know, but it's so good. And actually, there's an interesting thing. Do you watch The Crown?
Yes.
The last season, Dodi Fayed, who died in the car crash with Princess Diana, he actually produced that, and they shot a couple of scenes that were at Chariots of Fire, and it turned out to be this massive, massive hit. Really good movie. I know, 1920 Olympic movie. It's not exactly Big Lebowski, but I do enjoy it. Okay, number 4, The Hustler. Now, this is an interesting one, too. This is Paul Newman, the original Hustler. Jackie Gleason plays Minnesota Fats. Had Robert C. Scott. Incredible movie. One of probably, definitely high up on the list of all-time great movies.
Yeah.
I'm including this in the same umbrella because I also love Color of Money. So Color of Money gets into my number 4 because it's a direct sequel to The Hustler. So I get a little Paul Newman as Vince. Right. I get, if you haven't seen this movie and you like pool or you just like movies, it is just unbelievable. Paul Newman, one of 2 appearances by Paul Newman. 3 if you give me 2 for Color of Money. Number 3, how did you not put this on your list?
Wait, sorry, just quickly, Billy Wolf's in the chat. Perloff had a throne of fire last night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Number 3, how did you not have Karate Kid?
It's my list.
What's that?
It's my list.
But how can everyone here not have karate? If you're not doing basketball, baseball, and the big sports, is Karate Kid not the greatest sports movie of all time? Do you not want to climb a mountain after watching Karate Kid?
I love Karate Kid, but your list is your list and my list is mine.
Okay. I just want to make sure that Karate Kid is considered a sports movie. The All Valley Championship, that's definitely sports. Okay, I have Caddyshack number 2. You had it number 1. The only movie I put ahead of it is one of my favorite movies, and definitely one of my favorite sports movies, Slapshot.
Could you tell them, for example, what is icing?
Well, icing happened when the puck come down, bang, before the other guys. Nobody there, Mm-hmm. My arm comes out, then the game stopped and start up.
It's so good, Slapshot.
Slapshot, 1977, starring Paul Newman. There's all these different stories and interviews. Why did the great Paul Newman do a movie about minor league hockey? No one to this day knows why he's in this movie. There's not a single person who's even approaching stardom anywhere else in this movie. It's the most Canadian movie ever. The Hanson brothers were the Goon twins. I was pulling clips to try and get an audio clip. I'm still laughing. The Hanson brothers don't know how to play hockey. All they can do is beat everyone up. It's a great movie for hockey fans. It's sort of, just legendary. So I put that at number 1. And the reason I put it 1 over Caddyshack, because it's all sports, right? Caddyshack, again, is not professional sports. It's club golf.
Right.
So I think that there's a distinction on my list where I keep it a little more professional because you have Big Lebowski, which is league bowling.
Yeah, you have The Hustler. Takes place in a pool hall.
But he's the greatest pool player in the history of the world. That's a professional sport. It's Minnesota Fats and all.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like, okay.
No, you're right.
I think it can be amateur sports too because, you can still have the triumph. You can still have the good messages. You can still evoke a feeling, even if it's not pros. Hell, Hoosiers was your number 1 yesterday. For
high school basketball.
Yeah, right.
High school basketball is a massive sport.
Well, okay, but
you have a sport where they had to leave their event in the bowling alley, Big Lebowski, because there were nihilists attacking them outside.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
This is not exactly.
I stretched the boundaries of what is a sports movie because I wanted to get some of these big ones in, and I can tell you right now, the chat is not happy with me.
Oh, yeah, because you're stretching the genre. Wait, let me ask you, can we put Searching for Bobby Fischer, the famous chess movie, in there?
I think so. Now, Mike in California is telling us, can we have Molly's Game on now because it's about poker? Rounders would be another one, I guess.
But if it was about professional poker, yes. Informal games in the back room of a Hollywood like Molly's Game is not a sports movie.
Billy Wolf is in the chat saying, Maggie put Best in Show. Does that mean Lassie is an athlete now? Maybe. Listen, it's about competition, isn't it? Sports, competition. I think we can get there. Rich Ackerman, welcome back, Rich Ackerman.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
You came back on a really fun day. What do you think of our lists?
I like the list, especially Slapshot.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you're wearing a Carver High School basketball white shadow, so this is,
right up my alley.
Yeah, Slapshot. Everybody, if you're a hockey fan, you love Slapshot. So I think if you haven't seen Slapshot, go back. It holds up in the clips I was looking at.
Yeah.
Have any of you young guys not seen Caddyshack, by the way?
I've seen Caddyshack.
I've seen Caddyshack and I've seen Talladega Nights. I've not seen any of the other movies on either of your guys' lists.
Wow, never saw Lebowski.
Never did.
Huh.
My dad's told me to watch The Big Lebowski, but never got around to it.
I just assumed that was like a college dorm room kind of movie.
Connor, you've never seen Karate Kid 1?
Never seen Karate Kid. Or the TV show remake they did with, I think, his son.
Cobra Kai.
Didn't see that either. Cobra Kai.
Yeah, it was funny because Stu and I had a moment where the other day some people were calling in and said the MASH movie was a great football movie, right? And I said, wow, MASH had a movie? And everyone just couldn't believe I didn't know MASH had a movie. I thought it was just a TV show. So then I'm talking to Stu, and I got a little taste of my own medicine because I said, I'm going to do Teen Wolf. And he goes, that was a movie? And I was like, oh, now I know what it feels like.
Wait,
apparently
because
Teen Wolf is a TV show,
Oh, I was going to say, there's a show? Who's in the show Teen Wolf?
I would have not known there was a TV show Teen Wolf. I've heard of the movie, but I've never seen that one either.
Teen Wolf?
There is a TV show, Teen Wolf. And Stu's like, oh, they have a movie?
Who's in it?
Full circle, I got a taste of my own medicine. Some people are upset with us on some that we left off of our list. So we'll get to you guys. We see you on the phones. We're going to get to you in just a moment.
The TV show was on MTV. I did see it, but it was like serious. It was like people were
like a
murdered.
vampire movie or
Yeah, it wasn't like, he wins the basketball game. I do remember this, which should not count. That's pathetic.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, those are top sports movies, the catch-all division. That's what we're doing. Coming up are the Super Bowl champs adding the biggest free agent on the market. We'll get a little sports in on this. We see your phone calls, of course, on movies. Oh, boy. People are not happy with us. We'll get to all that after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag.
And it's sponsored by Progressive Insurance, sponsored by Progressive. When you save, when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance, visit Progressive.com. The start of NBA free agency just 2.5 hours away, with the Sixers trying to find a new home for James Harden, who exercised his $35 million option for next year. There aren't as many big names on this year's market, but among them are a couple of champs and Draymond Green and Fred VanVleet, as well as Kyrie Irving. The Nets are reportedly sending Joe Harris to the Pistons with 2 second-round picks to clear some cap space of nearly $20 million. Right now at Wrigley, top of the 5th, Cubs with a 6-0 lead over the Guardians. The Marlins and Braves have each won 5 in a row. The two best teams in the NL East meet tonight in Atlanta, which holds a 6-game lead in the division. The Rays are in Seattle after taking 2 of 3 in Arizona and will send 11-1 Shane McClanahan to the mound against Bryce Miller, while the AL West leading Rangers host the second-place Astros in an interstate and interdivision battle. Texas has a 5-game lead over Houston. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, it's DA. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, gets to ask us a question, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag #AskThePros. Be listening later in the show when we might answer your questions. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. I knew where the criticism was going to come from, Maggie.
I did too.
On our list of the top sports movies of all time, catch-all division, non-boxing, non-baseball, basketball, or football.
Yep.
So we both have our 5. Here's mine, starting number 5, Chariots of Fire. 4, The Hustler. 3, Karate Kid. 2, Caddyshack. 1, Slapshot. Maggie?
And for me, 5 was The Big Lebowski. 4, Talladega Nights. 3, Cool Runnings. 2, Best in Show. 1, Caddyshack.
I went 2, RT. I knew people were going to be mad about a certain hockey movie, about a certain famous team. That I just knew it.
Yeah, there are a couple that people are calling us on that we left off. Listen, this is a hard exercise. Like, you try to do 5 of your top movies, it is difficult.
No.
And everyone's got their own. Some of that I'm seeing in our YouTube chat. The fact that we don't have Happy Gilmore on this list. Listen, I love Happy Gilmore. I've seen it a million times. I love it. The fact that the wrestler not on this list, if we're going to really expand out to professional wrestling.
You're getting a lot of credit on my Twitter feed for having Big Lebowski. So everyone's like, I don't know if it's a sports movie, but it sure is a great movie.
There we go. Tin Cup not being on our list has gotten some blowback. Dodgeball not being on our list is getting some blowback. Ford versus Ferrari, Ladybugs. Listen, we could go on and on and on. There's
no Wedding Crashers either.
Yeah.
That's mostly a sports movie.
Crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does.
Exactly.
You're right. Let's go to the phones.
I can make it rain out here.
855-212-4227. But it's not professional, so it wouldn't be on Perloff. Chris is in Texas. Chris, you mad at me, pal?
Yeah, Best in Show? That ain't a sports movie at all. And you don't have Dodgeball in there or Ready to Rumble?
Listen, Chris, I think I can make a case for Best in Show.
Wait,
okay, here's the case.
No.
It's you don't want to hear it. Here's the case.
I don't watch that stuff. I can't. That's bored. That's as boring as watching golf.
Wait a minute, Chris.
wait.
You definitely haven't seen it if you think it's boring. It's an all-time great comedy, Best in Show.
He's saying dog, but he says dodgeball. Like that's a serious sport.
No.
I mean, dodgeball isn't exactly in the Olympics yet. I mean, by the way, the movie Dodgeball, is there really a professional dodgeball league?
Oh, I don't think so. That might have been a thing once the movie came out.
Yeah, at least there is a professional dog looking
No, it's
at
like
contest.
ESPN created the Ocho after that came out.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll do
No,
all
I
these
know.
fun
It is a sports movie, but
So
yeah.
here's the thing about Best in Show as a sports movie. Just real quick, we'll get back to the phones. It's competition. It's got underdog story. It's got laughs, rewatchable, and it's got the good commentary. And the commentary with the two broadcasters who are calling it, that creates the sports feel, because part of the soundtrack of the movie is this great color commentary and play-by-play.
Maggie, whenever you're in a position to sell your movie as a sports movie, you're in trouble. You're going to have the Jason Bateman commentary on that movie?
No, that's
boy.
Dodgeball.
Oh, that's
No,
okay.
for Best in Show.
Oh, Best in Show, right? Which is actually, I think Jason Bateman was inspired by the Best in Show commentary. They're very similar.
Definitely. Fred Willard is incredible as the color commentator. And,
Unbelievable.
He's so good. Charlie is in Vancouver, Washington. He's mad at us. Charlie, what's up?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. No, actually, I'm not mad at anybody, because this list, I had 3 thought of yesterday, and I have 3 totally different ones today. So I totally get where you guys are coming from. This is definitely the hardest one to do. Yeah, I was thinking Dodgeball, Happy Gilmore, and Tin Cup yesterday, and then I woke up today thinking, how in the heck, and after you guys didn't have it on your list, I'm not mad, but I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Did I hear anybody say Miracle at all?
It's such a good movie. It's like
Miracle?
It might be one of the perfect sports movies.
Well, we should have done just hockey. That's
we
okay.
could have done just hockey, because Mighty Ducks could have been on there.
Goon.
Obviously, Goon, Slapshot, which you have on your list, though, Perloff.
Oh, Slapshot was the best, Perloff. Wait, one more can I mention, please?
Yeah.
A young Dennis Quaid in Breaking Away.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys haven't seen it, and it sounds stupid, but it's about a small-town guy who lives in a college town and didn't have the money that they did and got into biking. None of his guys were into biking, but they entered the big race as a team. And he ends up being better than pretty much everybody in the world, because it was him training so much. All of the college teams were there, and him and his 3 buddies just took them all. And it was so far, and not as far-fetched as you think. Adrenaline can kick in. It was really, really cool, though. Good movie, Breaking Away.
Charlie,
and this is awesome, guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much. It was actually on our list. So we have like a full list, and I'm just going to give you a couple more that we thought of. It's not that we didn't think of these. Mentioned by Ducks. Free Solo is fantastic. Point Break. We had...
I don't put Point Break on.
Bend It Like Beckham. Days of Thunder. King Richard. I, Tonya. Kingpin we mentioned. 2 Escobars if we wanted to go to a documentary. I mean, there's so much here.
By the way, I'm glad that you explained the plot of Breaking Away. I've only seen it 400 times. I know Breaking Away basically by part. Again, that is marginally a sports movie. Marginally.
We go to our pal Nick in Texas, who also completed the wing challenge with Perloff yesterday. Nick, how you feeling today, pal?
I was just about to ask the same. I'm doing good. I'm not feeling too bad. I think Sean Marash, he should work for a carnival, though, because he called it. It was about 4 hours later, and I was in the middle of class, and boom, it hit me. So,
no. Well, you lived to tell the tale, and you were smart because you had Pepto-Bismol with you, which was a real pro move.
Yeah, I wasn't going to give my secrets away, but I definitely took that before I hit any of the wings. So that was definitely key in my success.
Nick, we only have a little bit of time before Robert Wuhl is going to join us. Of course, he was in Bull Durham, he was in Cobb, he was in Blue Chips. What else? You're okay with how things went down yesterday?
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I was calling, because, after I watched the replay of everything, I noticed that Pearl got a whole, paper towel, like a whole, brand new, paper towel he was using the whole time. You got 10 minutes. I felt a little cheated.
How long did you take, Nick?
Oh, man, I was only given 5 minutes, and I couldn't use any hand wipes or anything. So
you did have the gloves on.
Yeah, they said that was fine. So Pearl could have done that for sure. But yeah, I felt a little cheated. You got the 5 extra minutes.
Oh, man.
I got to tell you, that paper towel, and Maggie kept asking, why are you using that paper towels? You needed it so bad to keep that sauce off your hands.
Listen,
I didn't know I was cheating.
Nick, I'm not sure what we can do to make it up to you. You already have a Maggie and Perloff T-shirt. We've already, we gave you our glasses from the air premiere. I'll try to think of something else to send you. You're a trooper for yesterday, though, Nick. You're a real hero. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. I didn't mean to hang up on you. We're just up against the top of the hour. Nick's a legend, too. He's a Weedo legend also, which makes it double. Coming up, the award-winning actor who's been in some of the greatest sports movies of all time, Robert Wuhl, is going to join us next. You may remember him as Arliss. He joins us. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Jokic with the only ever 30, 20, 10 triple-double in the history of the NBA Finals, and Perloff is not impressed.
It's so boring.
Wow, and you're a massive NBA fan, so I feel like for you to say that.
I'm not a massive 8-footer fan. I like high-flying dunks, very deep three-pointers. So I like LeBron James. I like Steph Curry. I like Michael Jordan.
How varied in people you had there.
I do
the
not
greatest ever, and that's it. Everyone else can go screw.
What is he doing that's exciting? You're saying that I'm denigrating his greatness. I'm not. He's unbelievable.
You just don't want to watch it.
He's simply unstoppable, but I think it's boring.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
So glad to have you, and what a busy day we have on this Friday. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff across the country on CBS Sports Radio. And throughout the week, we've been doing our great sports debate series. Last week, we did the top 25 greatest athletes since the year 2000. This week, we decided to tackle sports movies. We've been going day by day with a new sport. Monday was baseball. Tuesday was boxing. Wednesday was football. Yesterday was basketball. Today is our sports catch-all, where we did basically everything that's not in one of those categories. And do you want to go through your list quickly, recap for people?
This is my catch-all number 5. I have Chariots of Fire. Number 4, The Hustler. With a little color money shout out. Number 3, Karate Kid. Number 2, Caddyshack. Number 1, Slapshot.
And for me, number 5, The Big Lebowski. 4, Talladega Nights. 3, Cool Runnings. 2, Best in Show. Number 1, Caddyshack. And now we have to go to an expert, someone who is an award-winning actor, writer, producer, comedian. I mean, he does everything, and he's also been in a lot of these great sports movies that we've been talking about all week, and that is the one and only Robert Wuhl, who's joining us now. If you want to watch, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Robert, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming on here. You are the authority on great sports movies.
I don't know if I'm the authority. First of all, thank you for having me on. Love the show. I've been watching both of you guys, listening to them for a long time on your previous shows, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, so before we get into what your contributions to great sports movies, of course, you were in Bull Durham, you were in Cobb, you were in Blue Chips. I mean, that's just to name a few. Before we get into the specifics of those, what makes a great sports movie in your opinion?
Well, there's different things. I mean, people like different types of movies. It's all subjective. What a great sports movie, it's like any other movie, great characters. Great characters usually make any kind of great narrative, any great story. You know, whether it's a sports movie or it's To Kill a Mockingbird, great characters make, now a couple of things that turn me off. As much as I like sport movie, I'm tough. For example, any movie where somebody starts clapping, and then another guy starts clapping, and then the whole team starts clapping, goes on my FOS list. That's full of, as you figured out. So Hoosiers is right out the window. Okay, I like Hoosiers, and I watch it all the time because to me it's a good movie with an outstanding performance by Gene Hackman. But when any movie does that, goodbye. It's like, that's not real. You've all been in sports. Have you ever seen that in any locker room? No, only in movies. So that's out. And by the way, I loved some of your choices on the catch-all list. Maggie, Best in Show was a brilliant choice. By the way, if people don't think Best in, it's about competition at the highest level. And if you don't think Best in Show was a sports movie, then don't tell me Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Okay. But Robert, Big Lebowski, is that a sports movie? We're talking about a league bowling scene.
Again, I'll give it a wide berth. I'm going to give things a wide berth here. I love that choice. The Hustler is one of the great movies. It's Ron Shelton's favorite sports movie of all time. Usually, most things that don't come down to the big game is what I like. It's like the big game stuff is, it just doesn't happen much.
Okay, you mentioned Ron Shelton, and I know he's a household name for most people. Robert Wuhl, the award-winning actor, writer, producer, comedian, is joining us now. But Ron Shelton really is like the godfather of sports movies. Most notably, he wrote Bull Durham. I can't even say most notably because he's done so many incredible things, and you have teamed up with him on so many incredible things. I can go through, though, a little just for our audience. Bull Durham, White Men Can't Jump, Blue Chips, Cobb, The Great White Hype, Tin Cup. I didn't know he wrote Bad Boys 2. That was one I didn't understand. But Ron Shelton, when you mentioned that's one of his favorites, you worked with him and on some of these brilliant movies. But I thought what was interesting, Robert, you said, and you've told this before, your audition for Bull Durham couldn't have gone any worse.
Horrible. I was all over the place. It was a horrible audition, and afterwards Ron was saying, the casting director said, "I'm sorry, I apologize for bringing him in," and Ron said, "Yeah, it was pretty bad. Hire him immediately."
Why?
Well, because I improvised a lot in it, and he said a couple of things. One is we talked baseball, and he said a couple of things. One is Robert's going to add an energy that I don't have. And Ron, you see, what makes him great sports movies, Ron puts together a ball club, which I think has a lot to do with putting together a crew and a team. So you don't need everybody doing the same thing. Then you have a fantasy team and you don't have a real ball club. He wanted certain people, so like with me, he thought, if I get in trouble in this movie, I can always cut to Robert, and he's going to be doing some, hum baby, get two, something like that. And so he looked at me as that. So, and of course, we have a relationship. By the way, Ron Shelton's first sports screenplay, is worth seeing. It's a terrific movie called The Best of Times with Robin Wood and Kurt Russell about, again, high school athletics and the guy who dropped the winning touchdown against the rival, and they get to replay the game 20, 30 years later. So that's also Shelton.
Well, they got to get Bam Bam Mojo and Dickie LaRue back together. Everyone knows the key. We talked about it yesterday in our football movies, but I appreciate that. How important is realism? The fact that Kevin Costner could swing a bat to you. Have you ever had a movie ruined because the actor wasn't athletic enough?
There's quite a few. It depends how good the movie is. Sometimes we give people a pass. I mean, Gary Cooper couldn't swing a bat at all. He played Lou Gehrig and he won the Oscar. And he couldn't. Not only he was right-handed, he would actually hit the ball, run down to third base, and they would reverse the negative because he wasn't left-handed. It does affect, especially more and more nowadays, because we're much more sophisticated. I don't think it ruins movies. One of my movies that I have on the list is an example of that, of somebody who couldn't play but gave one of the great performances. Because my list is going to be a little bit different. My list is, I didn't do my favorites or the best. I went with five sports movies that every discerning fan, and I know your audience is a total discerning audience, they should see. These were five of smaller movies. They're a little bit more esoteric at times, but they should see them because these are really good films with sports themes in them. And they really should see them. And you can watch them with your friends and go, they're not your Happy Gilmore and you're not your, Triumph for the Spirit type of movies. But
wait, Robert, before you do your movies, can we play the liner for you? Can we do this the right way? We have like this music, this big intro music. Let's do it the right way. Let's do this right. If we're going to have a multiple Emmy Award winner in our midst, let's hit the music, Connor.
The Great Debate Series. Best Sports Movies.
Okay, that's your cue for Robert Wuhl's 5 sports movies every discerning sports fan should see.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
I'm going to start with a 2009 movie called Big Fan, written and directed by Robert Siegel, who also wrote The Rustler, starring Patton Oswalt. Little movie, a comedy drama about, you'll love this. It's about an obsessive sports talk caller and a huge fan of the Giants who one day gets beaten up by his hero on the Giants, and beaten up badly, and the choices and reactions he makes because he's such a fan. And in today's society, and gets into loyalty. It's a terrific movie that I highly recommend. By the way, the one thing about all these movies, they're not long. They're usually about an hour 40. So I've seen this movie 2 or 3 times. That's a terrific movie that I would suggest your audience sees.
A little too close to home for Maggie, maybe, as a former WFA.
Well, it does, because a little bit. But at the same time, you're going to say, that is so real. That is so true. And the sports talk takes part of it, but just the whole idea of fans. It's about obsessive fans who take it to another level. It's a terrific movie, and it's funny. Number 2, a movie from 2011 called Win-Win, which was written and directed by Tom McCarthy, who later on went to write and direct Spotlight, the Oscar-winning movie about the Globe. Great movie. This is a terrific movie with Paul Giamatti and Amy Ryan and Bobby Cannavale. It's about a struggling New Jersey lawyer, and he's a volunteer wrestling coach. And he gets it over his head when he defrauds his client, but it turns out the client's grandson comes into his life and becomes the best wrestler on his team. And it's it's New Jersey. It's a terrific movie, and this is a terrific writer. So that's another one. From 2008, a small movie called Sugar. Sugar is a wonderful movie about a 17-year-old kid from the Dominican Republic. It starts out in the Dominican, and you see the life that they have there. Now, you will swear that this movie is a documentary, but it's not. These are actors, and it is sensational. It's about a kid who is a 17, Dominican kid, and he gets drafted by the Kansas City Royals, and they send him out of his comfort zone to Iowa. And single A team, and the culture shock, and the racism, and the competition. It's a character study about a subset of sports, and it's minor league baseball that is just outstanding. Another one is I was going to say Slapshot, of course.
Of course,
Slapshot. It's brilliant. The amazing thing about Slapshot is that this is the most profane, violent, vulgar movie, and it was written by a woman. Nancy Dowd wrote the screenplay. You asked why Paul Newman did the movie. It was directed by George Roy Hill, the great Oscar-winning director, who had just directed Paul Newman's previous two movies, which were named Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Sting. Oh, that's why he did it.
Yeah, we've heard of him.
So I won't go to Slapshot. The other one is a great movie called Bang the Drum Slowly from 1973. It's based on a novel by Thomas Harris, and it's about a Tom Seaver-esque pitcher who is holding out on his contract in those times. This is pre-Catfish Hunter, and this is pre-free agency, and he's holding out as a contract, and he won't sign until he gets a caveat in his clause, in his contract, that says that his friend, the catcher, who is suffering from a fatal illness that nobody knows about, is on the team. So he gets his hospitalization. And it's a wonderful, wonderful movie. The thing about it, you talk about guys who can't play. Michael Moriarty, who starred in the original Law and Order, he's the pitcher, but the catcher, and this is 1973, I thought this guy can't play baseball because he's a hillbilly, but I was totally convinced he was an idiotic hillbilly from backwoods, and it gave a great performance. And it was an actor I'd never seen before by the name of Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
So this is a movie that's worth seeing. I would put an honorable mention of $1 Million Baby. I don't know if you discussed that when you talk about boxing films. $1 Million Baby, the Clint Eastwood film with Hilary Swank. And I don't know if you discussed this in baseball films, but what I think, and I'm sure everybody's seen this, but it's the most, in my feelings, the most underappreciated sports movie possibly of all time, because it's much more than just a comedy. It's about America at that time, and that is the original Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Perloff had that on his list.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's about so much more than just baseball.
But, Robert, could you make that movie today? Could they ever make Walter Matthau pull it?
They did remake it. They did remake it, and it was awful because they had all the PC, and it was horrible with Billy Bob Thornton. No fault of his, but it was horrible. It just, you couldn't remake it because you couldn't say what the kids said in that movie, because it's a different world. Now, that's the nice things about these movies is you have to take all of them in period at their time.
Yes.
Because these are from the 70s and the early 2000s, and some of them. Another great movie.
Wait, but Robert, hold on though. Hold that thought. We're talking to the magnificent Robert Wuhl, award-winning actor. But to that point, right? You've been in movies that incredible sports movies that have held up, that didn't have to be a slice of that time, and now even 20, 30 years later, whatever it is, people still appreciate them. I mean, we talked on end about Bull Durham. You have one of the incredible lines in that movie when everyone's on the mound, and talking about what are we going to get, for the wedding, like, well, candlesticks. I mean, candlesticks is one of the all-time great lines, and it's not just that movie, but Blue Chips is another one that even today people are still watching. So did you know while making those movies, wow, in 20 years and 30 years, people are still going to love this?
No. The Blue Chips is a little bit different. I was only there for a day or two. But with Bull Durham, remember, it's a little bit different because it's minor league. Just like Slapshot holds up. It's minor league. It's not the big money that today is. It's different. When it's minor leagues, it's better. Cobb is a period piece.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's...
You're great in that, though. And Tommy Lee Jones, you guys are excellent in that movie.
That's a real, that's a real, thank you. But that's, you have to, they're not, and none of these, by the way, come down to the big game. I don't think any of them do. By the way, Breaking Away was another great.
Yeah.
That's another. I'll tell Dennis because Dennis Quaid and I were college classmates. So.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I would, it's hard. I'll tell you another movie that I don't know if most of your audience has seen yet. Again, possibly of its time, was Heaven Can Wait.
Yep.
Which was Warren Beatty. It's a great. That's when it starts to become big business. But it's also the original. Here Comes Mr. Jordan was about boxing. They changed the sport. That's what sports movies do. That I mean, and I'm not a sucker for sports movies. I watch them all. Some of them, it's tough to watch because, as Ron Shelton said, the reason that most sports movies suck. The reason that most of them suck is because they're told from the point of view of the fan. And the fan only cares about one thing. Did the team win or lose? They don't care how you got there, what you did to get there. They don't care. What Ron Shelton is different about, why Bull Durham is different, he goes, I don't know what the fan's thinking. I played second base. I know what the guy at second base is thinking. He's thinking, I'm trying to keep my job. And that's different. There's no big game in Bull Durham. So it's... That's different. I mean, we did that with Arliss, too. He was a guy trying to keep his job. That we felt. He was running a business and trying to keep his job.
So, by the way, I love Arliss.
So do I. Yeah.
A lot of people, is Jerry Maguire, is that a football movie? That was our debate the other day, because I argued that Jerry had also some non-football clients. But
it's a sports movie for sure. Maguire's a terrific movie.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a truth. The thing, I'll give a plug to watch HBO Max as all the Arliss is running now, which is nice because, we wrapped that 20 years ago. And it's funny because now I'm hearing about all the subject matters we got into 20 years ago. We were dealing with gay athletes, transgender athletes, steroid abuse, domestic abuse, alcoholism with athletes. We dealt with all that
gambling.
stuff.
Didn't you have a gambling?
Gambling, absolutely. And it holds up. But what doesn't hold up is like the technology stuff, like our cell phones are bigger, and that you say okay, but otherwise the subject matter holds up.
Robert, what did you learn most about professional athletes, working with them so much and having so many of those cameos on Arliss?
Great question. Okay, here's what I learned: having over 250 athletes. This is what I learned about professional athletes, with rare exceptions. The skills differential between all these guys is about this much. What separates the good from the very good from the great and all-timers is their mental approach to the game, their head and their heart, but mostly the mental approach to the game. That's what separates these guys.
Interesting. Before we let you go, Robert, a lot of younger people here don't know about Alan Arkin and is an actor, a comedic actor. Could you just say a word about how incredible he was?
Alan Arkin is one of the great geniuses of our business. He did everything. You can watch anything from Wait Until Dark, where he plays the scariest villain of all time. And then you can watch him in The Russians Are Coming. You saw him in Little Miss Sunshine. He played the grandfather. He was in Argo. He played the movie producer. Alan Arkin was a brilliant. Alan Arkin wrote the original. You know what everybody? Here's a sports fact. Whenever you hear Day-O, Day-O, Alan Arkin wrote that. He wrote the original Banana Boat song.
I thought it was Harry Belafonte.
Oh, Belafonte sang it. It was originally done by what's it called? Not the Chieftain. Is the he was part of a folk group, Alan Arkin, and he's one of the writers of Day-O, the Banana Boat.
And that's played in every stadium.
Every stadium.
Call and response with Day-O is in every single stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob, we could do this all day. We've already taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much. Thank you for making your own sports movie list. We're so honored to have that and to have you on the show. We know you're a true sports fan.
Thank you. I'm sure your fans are going to hammer me.
Definitely.
They're merciless.
And also, these are older films, I have to say, so. But they should go back. I mean, just like anything else, where you watch a classic, but those ones, Big Fan, Win-Win, Sugar, check those out. Check those out.
For sure.
And those feel modern, I thought. I mean, listen, Eli
Yeah,
Manning.
all of these are on either Amazon. I looked it up. Amazon, Hulu, Prime, YouTube, Vudu, Netflix. They're all on all of them, so you can check them out.
Yeah, I mean, big fan. They're talking about Eli Manning and Ahmad Bradshaw.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago, at least in my mind, it's not. Robert, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Have a great July 4th holiday. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. That's amazing. So
that was so fun.
I know, from someone who's not just someone who's in the industry, somebody who is a huge figure in the industry, award winner.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned the sports movies, and Arliss was awesome. And the cameos in Arliss were incredible as well.
So that's like the beginning of my HBO watching.
100%, me too.
Yes, and it's like, it was such an appointment for me, and I was such a big sports fan at the time.
Yeah.
And to see these cameos was everything.
Well, yeah, then we got into my Sex and the City phase.
And then Sex and the City came along.
And then for me, Sopranos is the big. That was a game changer. Then The Wire came along. But Arliss was before it. There was actually a couple shows, but Arliss was my favorite.
So actually, Robert Wuhl and I happened to be texting about this when we were setting up the interview, and he told me a fun fact that I don't think he would mind if I said this, which is Sex and the City was the lead-in to Arliss. And after that happened, they gained this huge female audience.
Love it.
Who loved Arliss, loved Sandra Oh, obviously, loved the story, and all of a sudden now 30% of their audience was women, which is great. Love it.
I put a lot of pressure on Robert to dress better, I'm sure, after Sex and the City.
Yeah, how do you follow that show? 855-212-4227 as far as the outfits are concerned. 855-212-4227. That's how you can get involved in the show. You want to tell us what we did well, what we did terribly on our sports list, you're welcome to do it. Also, coming up, the one NFL bet that Perloff and I absolutely love. And we'll give you the one that we absolutely hate. We'll get to that in just a minute. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff and you on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Question of the day is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question comes from Larry in Seattle, who was asking, the match took place yesterday between Kelsey, Mahomes, Steph, and Clay. Are we over the match now? You can submit a question by tweeting it at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag #AskThePros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah, you know, I didn't realize this golf match between Kelsey, Mahomes, Clay, and Steph was happening until I saw a little on social media. And the biggest clip I've seen from the match last night was nothing to do with any of the people involved. It was Charles Barkley surprising Ernie Johnson that he's getting into the Sports Broadcaster Hall of Fame, and I haven't seen anything else from the actual golf.
I've seen one thing when Clay just butchers a putt, and Draymond just starts cracking up. But it's
squares.
The question, it's like a tree falling in the woods. If no one watches the match, does the match even exist? Is it over? No one even knew it was still going on. This is the 8th match, you said? This is insane.
No, but I like that they do it. Had I known and had I not been watching multiple other things, I probably would have tuned in. I watched last year when Josh Allen was in it.
Right, because your team, but also this did sort of signal to everyone Draymond Green is definitely going back to Golden State because those are their besties. So that's something out of it. But no, I'm not into the match at all.
I don't know if it signals that about Draymond, but they're going to be besties forever.
There's no. You don't play that match and bro hug throughout a golf course. There's no way he's leaving. You didn't see just watching the highlights. I'm like, oh my God, he's going back to Golden State.
Well, he's going back to Golden State also because that's the best move, and they really want him back. I don't know how much they're going to be able to pay him. We've been talking about our great debate series, Top Sports Movies. The fantastic, fabulous actor Robert Wuhl just joined us. Actor, writer, producer, director, multiple-time Emmy Award winner. He just joined us before. If you missed any of that, you can always download the Maggie and Perloff podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or you can watch the interview again on YouTube, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. We've been talking about our 5 catch-all movies. So this is no movies that are baseball, football, basketball, or boxing. So kind of everything else. Perloff, you want to rattle through your 5?
Okay, my 5 catch-all starts with Chariots of Fire. Oscar winner, The Hustler, Karate Kid, Caddyshack, and Slapshot.
Mine are 5, The Big Lebowski, 4, Talladega Nights, 3, Cool Runnings, 2, Best in Show, 1, Caddyshack. Let's go to the phones, 855-212-4227. Mike's in California has got a thought on one we may have missed. Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. So I actually had a couple of them that you kind of missed. I mean, you guys gave honorable mention to Tin Cup, which was good. I think Tin Cup's probably one of the best golf movies there is. And Perloff, I disagree with you. Point Break is the epitome of this category. You've got surfing, you've got skydiving, you've got football, you've integrated, and you've even got skateboarding. So you've integrated all kinds of sports, and it's the true catch-all sports movie.
And they rob a bank.
And last but not least, a great movie that didn't make the list, and probably a lot of people haven't seen it. It's a sailing movie called Wind, which is phenomenal if you guys have never seen it.
Yeah, is that Matthew Modine and Jennifer Grey?
Yes, it's a great movie, and it doesn't get a lot of hype, but it's super, super good. The acting is amazing.
Wait, but Mike, I saw in the chat you were not happy with me having Best in Show on my list.
If you're going to put, there's another discussion taking place, and I agree with it. If Best in Show is a sports movie, then Harry Potter should make the list for Quidditch, because that's about how much they have in common with sports.
That's funny. Mike, thanks so much. Have a great weekend, and happy 4th of July.
Oh, man.
People play Quidditch, by the way, in New York. The ultra dorks.
Nerds.
Yeah. That's something for you to say, nerds.
I could have gotten a lot of credit for putting Vision Quest. I don't think you know. It's a little before your time. It's a mid-'80s wrestling movie that is such a sports movie. Matthew Modine has a cut weight. It's awesome. If you're a high school wrestling fan, that's a good one, too.
Let's go to Reed is in Alabama. Hi, Reed.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I talked to you yesterday. I've been listening.
Oh, Reed, you're going out. We're going to put you on hold now.
Oh, Reed's got a good one.
Reed's got a good one. Should I just say what it is?
Yeah, say what it is.
Reed was going to talk about Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
I mean, ESPN did put Seabiscuit as one of their top athletes. Or not Seabiscuit.
No, Secretariat.
But same thing.
Well, Seabiscuit, definitely a sports movie. It is a tearjerker.
Yeah, I know.
Because, not to spoil alert, but...
yeah, we know.
Somebody dies. Anyway.
Certain equine.
I have a friend... who cried, actually Seaton from Dan Patrick's show.
Yeah.
He talks about, I think it was that movie, he cries so much at Seabiscuit he could barely get through it. He told this story. Sorry, Seaton, if I have the wrong guy. But like that is, at the end when Seabiscuit wins, oh man, that's a hard movie not to cry at.
It's impossible. Tom is in Harrisburg's got a different direction here. Hello, Tom.
That's all right. I can give you a movie first. I'll give you Kingpin with Woody Harrelson.
Love it.
And Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's hair alone is what makes that movie the best.
I don't know why I didn't put Kingpin on my list. I'm really mad at myself.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is I have a comparison between Joel Embiid and Dak Prescott.
Ooh.
Both of them always seem to get off the hook, and everything gets blamed on everything else but them. And they're the two constants on their team that haven't gotten the job done over the past, 7-8 years for both of them. So I wonder what you guys thought about that.
I think you're a jerk, Tom. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm on a lot of Sixers text threads, and one guy is like, don't blame Harden. This is all on Embiid. 100% on Embiid. So there is that camp in Philly. I don't totally agree because Harden has had the same problems in Houston, kind of in Brooklyn, and in Philly. So he seems like the one constant problem in the James Harden situation. Embiid,
listen,
I don't
Embiid
blame.
no-showed Game 7 against the Celtics.
He was hurt.
Okay, but then he's always hurt, too, which is like, that's one of those things. Is it your fault that you're always hurt or not?
Embiid had Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, James Harden. It doesn't matter. It's not like he's had nothing. Well, Jimmy Butler had 5 undrafted free agents in Miami this year.
No, I know, but the other people on that list, Tom, are not exactly gangbusters. I mean, Ben Simmons, James Harden, like he's winning in spite of those guys in some ways. Maybe I'm being a little hard on Harden, but, Simmons was clearly flawed. But, Tom, thank you for the call and something to think about. Joel Embiid is Dak Prescott.
God, I think he's onto something because I got to tell you, that hurt.
Yeah, that cuts deep to the bone.
That cuts deep because I'm also a Dak Prescott fan. So I know.
Which is odd because you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I just think Dak's a good player, and I think Embiid's a good player. But facts are facts. They have not gotten over that hump in the playoffs. They seem to go out at about the same time. So I don't have a great argument against that.
It's tough. But that's the thing, like, again, about Embiid. He's always hurt. And, like, some of the stuff is fluky. You know, you step on someone's foot, you roll your ankle. Yeah. No one can do anything about that. But other times it's like, you know,
is he
taking care of his body?
It's a great question. I've said that all along, that I think he comes off as not totally professional. So I'm willing to give him a reset without James Harden there. And I hope they bring in some veterans, and he's going to have a good team around him. James Harden, 25 points a game. You fill that right up. Tobias Harris is getting tons of money. He should score more. Maxey goes from 20 to 26 points a game. They're going to replace James Harden. Now it is totally on Embiid.
Quickly, I wanted to... Ramona Shelburne had a tweet earlier while we're talking about the 76ers. This is a good time to bring it up. She said that the Sixers are not planning to extend Tyrese Maxey this summer. He's still seen as a big part of their future, but the team wants to delay an extension for him to preserve flexibility. That's not going to go over well.
Well, no, I don't know.
Maxey seems like a pretty cool dude, but
he's so cool.
Who wants their $100 to $150 million extension delayed?
Well, I'll tell you.
Just in time for you to what? Tweak an ankle, turn a knee?
This could be part of a bigger move. This could mean Dame Lillard in Philadelphia.
You know, that could be it.
I hope so.
But it doesn't matter if the Sixers pay him or if Portland pays him. Somebody's paying him, Tyrese Maxey. He's been that good of a player.
Well, yes. I don't know, though, that he's a guy I'm comfortable giving the max to. Maxey, because...
Well, he won't get the Supermax because he hasn't been in the league long enough, and he hasn't made enough All-NBA teams or All-Star teams.
Honestly, I'd rather Portland give him the max and we get Lillard. Because I'm not sure, and I'll be serious, because Tyrese Maxey, do you view him as a championship player, a championship number 2? If Embiid's the 1, Maxey would be the 2. Is he a championship 2?
I think he's like a high 3.
Yep, that's a good call.
On a championship team. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. See you guys on the phones. We'll get to you. We promise everyone wants to weigh in on the movies, and I totally understand because we're doing our sports catch-all. This is the last of the list here this week. And then we got a whole new category for you coming up later. We have a lot more to do. Mention the NFL bet, the one bet Perloff and I love, the one we absolutely loathe. We'll get to that after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag.
Well, the NBA draft is over, the Summer League about to begin, but the real fun just hours away from starting when the free agent period opens shortly, with dozens of players set to hit the open market, with some former MVPs and those who have won championships available. Then there's James Harden, who opted in on his $35 million option, but working with the Sixers to facilitate a trade, and there's already been a minor deal today with the Nets reportedly sending Joe Harris and 2 second-round picks to the Pistons to clear nearly $20 million in cap space. Baseball this afternoon at Wrigley, top of the 8th. It's the Cubs with a 10-0 lead over the Guardians. Nick Madrigal and Christopher Morel, both with homers. Justin Steele allowed just 3 hits and walked 1 over 6 1/3 scoreless innings. There are some good interdivision battles tonight. The Rangers host the Astros. Bruce Bochy's team has been one of baseball's best surprises and currently holds a 5-game lead over the defending champs.
Overall, you have to be excited about this team, how they're playing. These guys have just done a tremendous job, been through some things, injuries, some tough losses, but they bounced back, so great job by them.
In Atlanta, the Braves host the Marlins, who trail tonight's hosts by 6 games. Both have won 5 in a row. I'm Rich Ackerman.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff. It's kind of fitting that our final great debate list of top sports movies, Perloff, is the one that's made people maybe the most angry.
Wait, really?
Yeah, kind of. I think so. People are very upset that you and I did not have Miracle on our list.
Yep, great movie.
Nor do we have Happy Gilmore on our list.
I just got yelled in the halls for not having Rounders with Matt Damon on the list.
Well, go through your list quickly. I'll go through mine and we'll get to the phone calls.
All right. Can I change my list?
No.
5 Chariots of Fire should have been Kingpin. 4 The Hustler. 3 Karate Kid. 1, by the way. 2 Caddyshack. 1 Slapshot.
For mine, 5 Big Lebowski. 4 Talladega Nights. 3 Cool Runnings. 2 Best in Show. 1 Caddyshack. Yes.
Sorry. Happy Gilmore we should have given more consideration to.
Happy Gilmore. Well, listen, we both have Sandler movies on previous lists when we were doing our baseball, football, boxing, and basketball lists. Other things: Point Break, Ladybugs, Dodgeball, Rollerball.
No, I don't know. That James Caan Rollerball.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's like a futuristic.
There's a great doc, Murderball, about.
I've seen that.
Yeah, wheelchair athletes, incredible.
No, but the Rollerball's about roller derby.
It's roller derby, but within like space or something.
Yeah, it's something in the future.
It's got Sonny Corleone in it. That's all you need to know.
There you go. 855-212-4227. Mark is in Ohio. He's got one that we missed. Hey, Mark.
I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's a newer movie. It's called The Art of Racing in the Rain.
Sounds familiar, but no, I haven't.
It's actually told from a race car driver's dog's point of view.
This is a prank call. You must be pranking us. There's no chance that's a real movie.
The dog narrates the movie, and it is so emotional. It is a tearjerker.
Wait, Mark, are you a weirdo? Are you on something right now? The dog's not talking.
No, the dog narrates the entire movie. It's a dog movie, but the dog owner is a race car driver.
So it got huge numbers on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow. Mark, I stand corrected. I thought that you were, maybe had a couple too many drinks or gummies and thought that the dog was talking through the movie.
Those days are over for me.
Mark, thank you.
I have a couple of movies on this list, too. If you want to hear the list, I have Hidalgo. I really like that one. That's a horse racing movie.
Oh, yeah. I think is that a cartoon?
No. It's, he races the horse in the Middle East somewhere.
Yeah, no, that was a big movie. I remember when that came out. Viggo Mortensen.
Mark, thank you so
Across
much
the
for the
desert.
phone call. I really appreciate that. I really thought he was messing with us.
Yeah.
Who greenlights a movie about a race car driver told from the point of view of his dog? That sounds like someone got stoned.
You know who's in it? Kevin Costner.
Of course, yes. He's in every sports
movie. It's a movie for dogs, by dogs.
Yes.
It's a popular novel by Garth Stein, and it has Kevin Costner as the voice of Parker. I think it's a dog.
I stand corrected. Now
it's everything you thought he was making fun of. You were really you thought that was a prank caller.
Well, I mean, you're in this business long enough, you're going to come across a couple prank calls.
But saying the movie was called The Art of Racing in the Rain is not a typical. It's a little too random for a prank caller.
I've had some people go really in deep on prank calls.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not just fart jokes, Speaking of Kevin Costner, Matt in Eugene, Oregon has a movie that did not make our list. Matt, what's up?
Hi. So I have actually a whole category of one actor who, this is a perfect segue. Kevin Costner has 5 sports movies. American Flyer, which was a cycling movie.
Great one.
Golf movie.
Yep.
Play It to the Bone, boxing movie. Draft Day, football movie. And then in the baseball category, he has 3 to choose from. Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, but I would recommend For the Love of the Game. And as we just heard, he's also the voice of Enzo in
a movie about a race car driver narrated by a dog. I'll tell you what, Costner never sits one out when it comes to sports movies.
Matt, did you ever see Fandango? Right around American Flyer, he did them back to back.
Yeah.
Great movie. Early Kevin Costner. Amazing.
I feel like I've heard of it, Matt. Thank you so much for the call. And Tin Cup was written by Ron Shelton, who also wrote Bull Durham. And our guest earlier this hour, Robert Wuhl, was in many Ron Shelton movies, including Bull Durham.
I love that Robert Wuhl tried to surprise us with Best of Times, which we talked about with Kurt Russell and Robin Williams. I can't believe Ron Shelton wrote that. I didn't realize that, but that was a good one too. There's just so many.
So one other thing that Robert Wuhl said, which was, he doesn't like a movie where like the slow clap starts.
Right.
He doesn't like sports movies that go to the big game.
So what's an example of one that does that?
The slow clap?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
he said Hoosiers.
Rudy.
Rudy kind of.
Rudy. It's kind of a slow chant.
It's a slow chant, and Rudy was number one on both of Perloff and my football movies.
And Hoosiers should have been number one on, both our lists.
Legend.
I mean, Jimmy Chitwood. Yeah, you got to run the picket fence.
Can we quickly get to our NFL bets that we love and NFL bets that we loathe as we're looking to some of these future bets with the football season, well, training camp really, somewhat on the horizon. Perloff, do you have one that you absolutely love and one that you loathe?
Okay. The one that I love, these are popular bets, right?
Yeah.
That people are putting a lot of money. Apparently, 80% of the money in Vegas, when we say Vegas, I don't even know if it is Vegas anymore, is coming in on the Seahawks to win the NFC South. They're plus 275, where the Niners are minus 175. I read this in an article, maybe a couple weeks, it might have changed. I think that's a great risk to take because you're betting against the 49ers quarterback situation. And the Rams look like they're headed for a rebuild. The Cardinals are out of the picture. So basically, to win that bet, all you need to have is some problems in San Francisco. And you're set.
You know, it's so funny. We did not talk about these before we got on here, but one of mine was worst bets was San Francisco to win the division in the NFC West.
Oh, there you go.
Just because, again, of the quarterback situation. It's a great team, but you're one Nick Bosa injury away potentially. And what's Trey Lance? What's Sam Darnold?
Right.
You know I'm not a Darnold believer.
But it's a flip of a coin, though, because your only other competition is Seattle.
Is Seattle, right.
Because it's unlikely. I mean, maybe the Rams pull it all together. You're not going to get anything from the Cardinals. So that gives both those teams. That's why this apparently is just money flying in on Seattle. So I like that one. Do you want to do the one you like now? Okay.
One that I did like is I like the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East at plus 190.
Yeah.
Now, like, don't call me one of those, oh, you got to do a Dallas Cowboys thing. Your Philadelphia Eagles are minus 125 in that division. Are we sure you guys are, listen, you're a great team. You got best GM in football. I love Jalen Hurts, just paid Jalen Hurts. I'm just wondering, you know, are we sure you're winning the division? You're a playoff team, that's for sure. You might even be going back to the Super Bowl. That's really hard for teams that lose the Super Bowl to go back. But are you winning the division? I don't know. And so for me, worth it to put a few dimes on the Dallas Cowboys to win the division at plus 190.
Well, okay, plus 190. I'm going to go make that bet as soon as this segment is over. I love that.
You're taking my bet, though.
Well,
I made money on the Cowboys last year. I tried to go back.
It's an open sport. Anybody could go onto an app and make the bet.
I know.
So that's okay. I'm doing the same thing you're doing. You basically the same thing. Apparently, Jalen Hurts is overwhelming most money at BetMGM and FanDuel to win MVP. He's fifth in MVP odds. That is not a bet I like at all because he's losing Shane Steichen as offensive coordinator. And, you know, listen, we know what happens why offenses go south when offensive coordinators leave. It happened the last time the Eagles won a Super Bowl. Frank Reich and John DeFilippo, the quarterback coach, left.
Yep.
And all of a sudden Carson Wentz forgot how to play. There is definitely going to be regression on Jalen Hurts here. Not much. He's a great quarterback. His best game was the Super Bowl. That's what you want to do as a quarterback. But I don't see him getting into the MVP conversation this year. The other thing, too, is there'll be a new breakout star who's going to give him competition. I don't know why everyone is throwing the money there. I would take somebody further down the list, like a Trevor Lawrence or a bit more of a long shot. I don't think that Jalen Hurts is going to repeat the kind of season he had last season.
Okay. I like that one. I go back to another division winner. I mean, you're going to tell me you really think you know who's going to win the AFC North? You don't. None of us do.
Ooh.
Right now, the Bengals are the favorite at plus 150, Ravens plus 220, Cleveland Browns plus 425, and the Steelers at plus 450. I weirdly like the Browns, actually, if you're going to put a longer shot bet on this.
I like getting the Bengals at plus money, though.
It is plus money. That's how tight this division is.
Yeah, I like the Bengals.
Every team in the AFC North and the AFC East are all plus money.
Did you happen to see the last game the Bengals won last year? They lost the Chiefs, and who they beat in the divisional round?
I mean, why do you
Connor,
have to do
can you
that
look that up?
I mean, we know.
Oh, right. They blew the Bills off the field.
They did.
I almost forgot about that. Now you don't want to bet on them.
I'm definitely not betting on the Bills to win the division, but we already knew. I'm a pessimistic fan. Okay, coming up, an NBA superstar is making $1 gazillion and feeling disrespected. We get to that next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
hit 1,000 new YouTube subscribers, and that was the deal. Once it got done, we were going to destroy the Carson Wentz poster. All right, Guidos, Purple Drinkers, this is for you.
Yes.
She did.
Yes.
All right, now Perloff, here you go.
Carson is not crumbled.
Not going down.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna go like Office Space and do it sort of with the other end of the bat.
Whoa, yeah. You just give it the rip?
Yeah, rip it. Maggie can't rip it. All right, let's both of us try.
Okay, here, wait, you try.
This thing is tougher than the actual Carson Wentz.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Memories from 2 weeks ago. Feels like 2 years ago we destroyed the Carson Wentz poster because so much has happened over the last 2 weeks. Welcome to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff across the country on CBS Sports Radio. And yeah, a lot's happened, including NBA free agency, which we'll get into in just a moment, Perloff, but also our great debate series continued on this week with great sports movies. On Monday, we did our top 5 baseball movies. Tuesday was boxing. Wednesday was football. Yesterday was basketball. And today was our catch-all. Sort of, we could have made another sport. We probably could have done a whole racing category, hockey category, but instead we did catch-all for Friday. And
absolutely.
Do you want to say your top 5?
Okay,
Wait, hold on. Let's play the music. Can we play the ultra fun? This is the last time we're going to get a chance to play the music.
You love this music, Maggie.
I do. Well, we have more great debate series things coming your way this summer, but this is the last time we get to play the movie one.
The Great Debate Series. Best Sports Movies.
I love how this starts serious and then turns into a club in Miami from 2000. Okay, number 5, The Big Lebowski. Number 4, Talladega Nights. Number 3, Cool Runnings. Number 2, Best in Show. Number 1, Caddyshack. Perloff, go ahead.
Okay, my number 5 is Chariots of Fire. Should have been Kingpin. 4, The Hustler. 3, Karate Kid. 2, Caddyshack. 1, Slapshot.
I love that you're already down on your own list. Yes, we realize that we missed a lot of them. It's hard to make a top 5 for all the people shouting at their radios. What about Miracle? What about Happy Gilmore? We know. It's hard.
Happy Gilmore.
I do love these movies.
Why are you doing that to me? There are a lot of really good ones. Maybe Catch-All was too broad. If we were going to do what would be the next sport if we had to do one? I think I would argue for hockey.
Okay, so here's the thing about why we didn't do hockey and race car driving is because we thought too many of our lists would overlap. Because there's not as many hockey movies as there are football movies or baseball movies, of which there are infinite.
There's a lot of hockey movies. There's Slapshot, which I have. There's Goon, Mighty Ducks 2. I think there's a Mighty Ducks 3. There's Miracle. I think they're more Youngblood with Rob Lowe. Oh, I love that movie. I had such a crush on the female lead. I think her name was Amy Gibb. Anyway, I think you could have done hockey. What's the other sport that's
race car driving?
Yeah, and horse racing too has a bunch.
And horse racing has a bunch, but we thought there'd just be a little too much overlap. We could have done golf movies, actually.
Yeah.
Because Caddyshack is on both of our lists, obviously, but you do have Tin Cup and Legend of Bagger Vance and a lot more.
Happy Gilmore,
obviously.
Legend. No, there's no way. We'd have to go top 50 to get Legend of Bagger Vance on there.
I'm going off the top of my head here on golf movies.
Does anybody like that movie?
I don't know.
It's not good.
Do you have another golf movie that I missed? It's hard to come up with.
No, but it would have been nice to be able to get Tin Cup and Happy Gilmore in there. Yeah, but it's like, you know how you put Big Lebowski as a bowling movie? There's hundreds of movies, or Caddyshack, obviously. Yeah. There's hundreds of movies with golf at some point in there, right?
Yeah. If we were going to use the Maggie Gray rules of if a scene appears once in the movie, then it can now be called that movie, as I did with Teen Wolf yesterday and Big Lebowski today. Okay, so those are the movies. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what we got right and what we got wrong. And we will take your calls at 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay. We got to turn our attention to free agency, and especially with James Harden in the news, we had to bring in a friend of mine and someone who does fantastic reporting and writing on not just the 76ers, but the entire NBA. It's Yaron Weitzman, who is now working for Fox, but also has an incredible book called Tanking to the Top. And if you haven't read that yet, you must grab it. Perfect for the summer and perfect for this time of year. And Yaron is good enough to join us now. Thanks so much for the time. I know it's busy.
Thanks, Maggie. Appreciate the intro. Really nice, really kind. You don't let me stop you.
Yeah, I could go on and on, but you wrote a really good piece that's on foxsports.com right now, and it's about James Harden because you've gotten some time with him in some exclusive interviews and things like that. I think here's the bottom line. Does James Harden still holding out some kind of hope that he is going to be the focal point of a team? Because it wasn't that long ago that he was feeling like he was surprised he was really even sharing the top bill with Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think like in his mind, and we've seen this before from superstars, right? It's kind of an old story with aging stars. And James Harden is still really good, but I think in his mind, he thinks he's good enough to be the best player on a championship team and wants to be in a situation where he is more of a focal point. Obviously, the Clippers is not exactly that, but the ball would be in his hand. It's a little different than running like an offense through a post-up guy like the Sixers do with Embiid. And I know the Sixers do a lot of pick and roll stuff, but the Clippers, the ball would be in his hands. And also, that's not as long. I think that's like, he didn't pick the Clippers because he said that was his, or we should say reportedly, or, according to people we're talking to, he's not saying the Clippers because that was his ideal destination. That's my understanding, is that was more of a reaction of the Sixers, him feeling like the Sixers weren't coming heavy enough, and the market for him is really not there, right? And he just reacted and saying, I want to trade, and the Clippers are the circle destination, and he'll try free agency next summer.
Yaron, take us back a little bit. Last year, it seemed like James Harden took a little bit less money, got P.J. Tucker in with the Sixers. At that time, do you think James Harden had any idea that the market was going to go south on him? He was probably pretty confident that he was going to get a ton of money from the Sixers.
Correct. I'm the Rockets are big. So I'll answer your question. So I don't think so. And taking the money, like, James Harden wants to win, but I also think he took that pay cut thinking that he can get into free agency this year, and that remember last year he was coming off a poor playoff series, and I'm guessing he thinks, and he was injured before, I'm guessing he thought that he would take the 2-year deal, but it's 1 year with a player option. He would play well, opt out, hit free agency. Everybody would want him because he's James Harden, and the market would be crazy for him this year, right? So, he obviously wanted to bring or help the Sixers get P.J. Tucker in, his guy. But James Harden is not in the business, I don't think, of taking pay cuts just for the hell of it. I don't think we can underestimate how much the Rockets getting out of this market, and not going after James Harden aggressively, really changed things here, right? I think that's what happened, that Harden thought that was a legitimate option for him to return to. This is my story that Maggie talked about, but the day he was traded, I was told that he told Houston, like, I want to come back to you guys. And I don't think it was from a manipulative way. I think Houston is his home, not just for the nightlife. He likes the nightlife there too, but like his mom lives there, his family, he's got connections there. He's got a real emotional connection to Houston. He was close with the Rockets ownership, especially Patrick Fertitta, who's the son of Rockets Governor Tillman Fertitta, which is how things work these days. And so I think he thought that the Rockets were a legitimate option, and that, he'd have them and the Sixers kind of bidding for him. And the Rockets deciding that they were out of the James Harden business, are not willing to go for more than, 2 years or throw a mega deal at him. And, I think we know that if the Rockets are out, Daryl Morey certainly knew that, right? And he knows the market. And I think that allowed Daryl Morey to sort of slow play how they were going to negotiate with Harden. What the Sixers are putting out, and I don't fully believe this, but what the Sixers have been putting out is that, hey, last year we got hit with all these tampering fines, so this year we didn't even negotiate with James Harden before free agency actually started because we didn't want to break the rules again, and we were telling James Harden's people that, we just have to wait. We have to wait until Friday at 6 p.m. then we can talk.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So you believe that? I believe that if Daryl Morey thinks there's no other market for Harden, and like he's not bidding against anyone, and that could just be a negotiating ploy, right? If there's another team coming heavy, he's not doing that. So I think that's what kind of happened here. And I think that bothered Harden, and that led to, hey, I want my player option picked up. Also, get me out of there.
Yaron Weitzman, Fox Sports NBA writer, got a book also, Tanking to the Top, which is fantastic. I mean, here's the thing, though. James Harden sounds delusional, if that's what he's thinking. The Rockets doesn't match up with his timeline at all. He literally quit on the court for that team. Even if they have a good relationship now, I mean, that is a bitter pill to swallow. I'm not going to talk for Rockets fans, but that's tough. I mean, Yaron, looking at the rest of Well, let's actually keep it on one more thing with the Sixers. We're seeing Ramona Shelburne, I saw, reporting that they're not planning on giving Tyrese Maxey a big extension. We're on in Portland, Oregon right now. Is there a possibility that no Maxey extension is because something larger is coming down the pike in an attempt to get Dame Lillard to Philly?
It's not like the reason, but it's definitely a possibility, right? The reason you don't extend Maxey is you keep his cap number lower. And, you know, what the Sixers are going to try to do now is they're going to probably, let's say James Harden goes to the Clippers, they're basically going to work on 2 deals at once, right? They're going to work on a Harden deal, who's an expiring contract, and you trade him and you get other expiring contracts and draft assets or young players back. And then you're going to try to find a third deal, you know, a third way to send those assets, young players, draft stuff, and send those out to another team to basically find your Harden replacement. Obviously, Lillard would be the top of that list, and you want to keep Maxey's cap number lower. It's easier to trade him if that's the case. They can also, what they're going to say, this is true, right? Like they can extend him later. They can extend him until October. They can extend him next season if they don't end up making another deal and they enter next offseason with Maxey this lower number and Tobias Harris comes off the books. They have a ton of room to sign guys. I'm also, I find it hard to believe that they're going to convince, like they're going to tell Joel Embiid that they're basically punting a year to chase cap space next season. Like you just can't do that if you have Joel Embiid on your team. So yeah, it's definitely like I think Damian Lillard is probably at the top of the list of guys who Sixers and President Daryl Morey is going to go after, and Maxey would be the trump card there in terms of if you look at the offers that Miami can put out, and if you look at what Brooklyn can put, especially if they're not going to give up Mikal Bridges, Maxey would probably be the best player and the best asset available.
All right, in 3 years. I'll give you 2 years. Who is most likely or more likely out of these two players to be on a new team? Giannis Antetokounmpo or Joel Embiid?
Ooh, that's a good one. So Embiid, I'm always not somebody who's like, you know, everyone else around the league and, you know, not connected to the Sixers, but like third level removed and playing NBA gossip and all that are always saying, I think Embiid's going to ask out. Look what's happening there. I've always been a little dubious. He's really comfortable in Philly. He knows he's comfortable. He knows the power he has. There's something different about if you're the star who was who had grown up in the franchise. Like he runs that team. He really does. That said, Daryl Morey's really betting on himself here in terms of how he handled this Harden stuff. And if this doesn't go well, and if they don't find if Harden goes to the Clippers and then, you know, Morey tries saying, hey, we'll enter the season, we'll make a deal before the deadline and nothing comes. And all of a sudden you wasted a year and Embiid, you know, it wouldn't stun me, I guess. The Giannis thing seems very tenuous, though. He can sign a supermax extension next summer. It looks like there's a decent chance they might lose Brook Lopez. Chris Middleton is getting up there. I just think we could end up looking around next summer and you see the Bucks maybe coming off of another early playoff exit. Of course, we won't label it a failure. We'll just say an early playoff exit.
No failures. It's all about levels, steps.
Right? Yes, exactly. Not a failure. We just fired our head coach, but it's still not a failure. I just think we can look around next summer and say, oh, this has come to an end, right? And that's not. No one's told me that, but just kind of looking around. So I get. What do you say? Who's more likely? I guess I would put better odds on Giannis not being there. Is that like a double negative? Does that make sense? I bet on Giannis there.
Wait, so who's saying? Basically, Milwaukee fans.
Giannis. I would say Giannis. I'd be more. I'd be more concerned about Milwaukee fans. How's that? Did I phrase that properly?
There you go. Yaron, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. Yaron Weitzman, read his column right now, FoxSports.com, about James Harden. It's great. Thank you for the time, Yaron.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Talk soon. Yeah. The Giannis piece is interesting.
That's a bit depressing for Milwaukee fans, and it feels like
nothing's happened yet.
But there's, you know what? It's one of those things. You're seeing a lot of people are starting to write about it and wonder about it. You know, because this is a time Kevin Durant did sign back with Oklahoma City, but then it was the next contract when it didn't look like he was on the title path that he left.
But here's the thing. Giannis did win a title.
I know.
And 2 MVPs. They've shown that they can win there.
But Lopez we just heard what Yaron said, could be gone. Middleton I know he's 31, but he feels like he's getting older. Drew Holiday's getting older. Is this really the championship core?
Well, they have some things in front of them, but, you know, it's not like hurdles that you can't overcome. Adrian Griffin now takes over as the head coach for a fired Mike Budenholzer, and you have to believe that Giannis had a say in who the head coach is going to be.
Maybe, but
definitely
there's no talent around him. I mean, Drew Holiday's, I think, 34. He's not going to be there in 2 years. So, I mean, just saying, L.A. and New York, who knows? A bit. You don't think Giannis is? I know he's Mr. Nice Guy. You don't think he'd consider it a big market?
Well, I don't even know if it's about the market. Where do you think he would want to play? Like, is New York appealing? Everyone goes to New York, leaves worse off.
Well, I know the New York NBA teams are kind of flawed, but look at Aaron Rodgers having a good time going from Milwaukee. But I mean, honestly, my first thought was one of the LA teams. LeBron will be distant memory by pretty soon.
Okay, so you're going to go. Okay, you go to the Lakers.
Everyone goes to Lakers and NBA history, yeah.
But the Clippers, you're not. I mean, they're opening up a new stadium, though, a new arena.
Why not the Clippers? This Harden deal, it could be setting up a gigantic salary cap clearing soon. So you could look at it like that because Harden's 1 year right now.
I don't know. I'm not like running to join the Clippers. Are they actually going to give Kawhi Leonard a contract extension? I don't know how you could do something like that.
Well, I mean, listen, if he
same with Paul George.
How old do you think Kawhi is?
He's going to be younger than we think. We
I
always
think he's
do
32.
this. We call this the Legion of Boom test.
He's 32.
But in, NBA years, he's 42.
Well, I'm just saying.
His body.
I mean, what choices is Giannis going to have in a couple of years? Who's he going to want to join? I would think it's not a bad one to have there, Kawhi Leonard. I'm a big fan.
He will go to the place where everyone goes, Miami.
Who's gone to Miami?
Well, LeBron and Chris Bosh.
Yeah, once. Yeah.
And Bosh came with him.
No,
and then Jimmy Butler.
Miami gets it. Yeah, but that was different, though. It's not like Jimmy Butler was in huge demand. I don't think Miami's always one of those teams always rumored about, but yet they put out a G League team in the finals.
I mean, Kyle Lowry was a thing.
Come on.
I'm telling you.
He's 38.
No, but he was a thing because he had won a title.
Everybody goes to the Lakers. I mean, we're talking this. We're at the Shaq level now.
No,
we're talking about Giannis. LeBron will be gone. Anthony Davis will probably be gone. I don't know. Where would you go if you were an all-world NBA player? You had any choice of any city?
Probably LA. Not New York. Think about it. Nobody leaves better off. Who leaves with their reputation intact? Who leaves, where people are like, that was an all-time great player? Maybe Patrick Ewing?
Hey, LeBron and Bronny are going to Atlanta, according to LeBron's Instagram feed. That's fun.
If you want to get LeBron James to retweet you, create a mock draft and put Bronny in it.
Yeah.
Anywhere. We could probably get LeBron on the phone if we just said that we were draft experts, you know?
Yeah.
Which we are, obviously.
We could,
So if we have Bronny going in the top 10, would you like to join our radio show? We'll probably have him on in the next segment.
I could just mention that the Utah Jazz are looking at Bronny, and LeBron would be on Google looking up restaurants in Salt Lake City. Like, he's really into this.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, it's that time of the week. The Advice Duck back in the house. You still have time to get your questions in. Use the hashtag AdviceDuck. You can put it in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio with the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers. You can reach out Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. You can also send us an email, maggieandperloff@gmail.com. The Duck next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff, the Maggie and Perloff show where there's always a lot going on, our new tagline.
Yeah.
Now there is a grown woman dressed as a duck next to me, and you know what that means.
Are you sure I'm a grown-up? I don't know. Pretty sure I'm not a grown-up.
Yeah, based on your movie list, there's yeah.
Why, you don't watch Cool Runnings every year?
Actually, let's look at let's judge each other's maturity based on our list of top 5 catch-all sports movies. I go with Chariots of Fire, and it's Richard Attenborough. English won the Oscar. The Hustler, a classic black and white film. Karate Kid, Caddyshack, and Slapshot. You went Big Lebowski, Talladega Nights, Cool Runnings, Best in Show, and Caddyshack. What are you, 14 years old?
I'm kind of like half frat boy, half 14-year-old, half 5-year-old. Something like that. That's the cross section. That's where I appeal to America.
Yeah, well, Best in Show, though, like that's people are killing you for that.
Killing me for it.
That. What is the sport called? Dog?
Well, it's a dog competition. It's like the Westminster Dog Show.
Yeah, it has a dog show. That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's called the dog show.
Yeah.
It's a competition. Robert Wuhl, the multi-time Emmy winner, who is in Bull Durham, in Blue Chips, in Cobb, in Batman, and so many movies, and was Arliss on HBO. He agreed with me when he joined us earlier in the show that Best in Show definitely a sports movie.
Yeah, I mean
competition.
They show the highlights on ESPN.
Yeah, right.
They do. They show some poodle running around, and you're like, okay.
Well, now they also show like grown men falling down a hill chasing a wheel of cheese on ESPN, and hopefully they're still showing programming on ESPN after all the layoffs that happened there today. That was bizarre. But anyway, time to get to the duck.
Good segue.
Let's get to the duck as quickly as possible. This is the portion of the show where I wear a duck costume and I answer questions. If you need advice, if you have a conundrum, let me know. This one came in, and this was from Bill, who asked to withhold his last name, but he sent us an email at maggieandperloff@gmail.com. And the question was, he took a friend out for a birthday dinner. Mm-hmm. And what had all intentions and wanted to pay for the dinner, but the friend ended up ordering tons of drinks, a lot more food, like really went big for the birthday. And when the bill came, Bill wants to pay for the dinner, but then the friend felt bad about it because they had ordered so much extra, and it led to like an awkward sort of ending to the meal.
Okay.
What should he have done differently? And I don't think, yes?
I don't know this one because this is guys don't take each other out for their birthday like that.
Well, Bill did.
Okay. All right, yeah. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, because I think anyone, even if you don't take someone out for your birthday, I think you can relate to this. We've all been, say it's not just one other person. It could be a group of people, and say you're not drinking that night or at all, or say you only want to eat like a salad and everyone else is ordering T-bone steaks and martinis, and then the bill comes, they say, oh, let's just all split it.
Yeah, exactly. That's happened a million times. I don't drink, so a lot of times the bill comes up and I'm asked to pay for part of the alcohol bill, which actually I'm fine with.
Well, that's the thing, and the alcohol makes up most of the bill. It's not an accident. That's where restaurants can really mark things up. So it's tough. I think if you are somebody, like we all know, if you're friends with Perloff, you know that you're not going to be drinking when we go out. I think that it's okay to, since we know that about you, to say, I'm going to offer to pay more, because you shouldn't constantly be saddled with more when we're just having dinner or we're just out with friends. In a specific case where you're taking somebody out for a reason, you just got to pay. No matter what it is, no matter what they order, if you're taking them out on a celebratory thing or a date, you just got to pay.
You don't want to be that guy who orders a salad when everyone else is ordering T-bones. Join the party.
I know. See, that's the real moral of the story is if you're eating in a group, you might as well get the most expensive thing. Because this is the time to really go ham on the menu.
Well, the thing is, though, if you do order the surf and turf, someone will be the last one to order, because if they hear you order the surf and turf, they're going to order the surf and turf. Soon you're paying $300 for dinner, and you're like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, why am I broke right
There's
now?
a calculus to this, right? Like you have to, I would say, and what I'm hearing from you, there's not one really catch-all answer to these situations.
No, I think that the answer is, if it's a special occasion and you're with someone else and you are going to pay for this because it's a special occasion, you've got to pay no matter what. When it comes to the big group and you're somebody who doesn't drink, I think it's okay to be like, hey, I wasn't drinking, so I'm just going to pay this.
Yeah, but I would never do that because, first of all, I'm not going to go out. I usually do not go out with people ordering $300 bottle of wines. It's not my kind of crowd anyway.
Yeah, but 3 drinks could be $50.
It could. That's fine. You know what? I think it's fair. Honestly, it's my opinion. I think you should distribute it evenly because, if the person orders 9 drinks, then it's a different story.
Then you might want to get him an ambulance.
Yeah, I would just walk out slowly. He won't even know if you were still there or not.
Yeah. Actually, now he has to pay the whole bill.
Yeah, he'll end up paying the whole bill.
He'll lose his credit
But I don't
anyway.
mind if you guys are ever out with me and you're like, oh, Perloff didn't drink, I'll pay the same amount. I really don't mind. I appreciate you saying that, though.
I think that I stand by it. So there you go. That was the only Advice Duck submission that we got this week. So a little mini Advice Duck.
Yeah, it's a very Curb Your Enthusiasm, awkward potential moment there when the bill comes around. What do you think in general? Say I don't know if you have any friends who are significantly more wealthy than you.
Yes, I do.
I have with a guy.
I do.
Do you secretly expect them, forget birthdays, do you secretly expect them to pay and sort of half-heartedly reach for your wallet? Or do you know that they're going to judge you if you expect them to pay?
I don't think they're going to judge me if I expect them to pay. I don't assume they're going to pay. I do not. And because... I'll just say it like it is. If you are friends with somebody who has a lot more money than you do, odds are they're going to end up paying for more stuff. Because if you have, at least if the person's generous, I think they sort of, as it all shakes out in the end, I can pick up a dinner here and there because thank you for taking me on vacation with you. That kind of thing. It's like, wow, thank you for, inviting me to this great thing that I would have never gone to had it not been for you.
Okay, yeah, they're definitely judging you. By the way,
they are.
They're
Is that right?
Yeah, I had a friend who hit it big in a certain industry.
Okay,
and he would take us to dinner and pay for everybody, then be miserable about it afterwards.
Well, that's no fun. Then you shouldn't pay for it.
Yeah, we're not friends anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm happy to pay. Why are you doing this?
I bet athletes feel like that.
Oh, athletes do. Athletes will take anything free. You could be making $320 million on your contract. If I offer you a free sweatshirt, they're like, oh, yes, let's go.
No, but I think athletes probably feel like they have to pick up the bill a lot.
Yeah. No, athletes are the cheapest people I've ever met. I'm being dead serious.
I've worked with athletes who aren't cheap.
Yeah, but they're quietly grumbling behind the scenes, I'll bet.
Although this was a funny thing that happened. I'm not going to name who it is, but I remember going once to a baseball game with a certain athlete, and we kind of split up. We were buying food for a lot of people. Yeah. And somehow he was the one who ended up buying, some nachos, and I'm the one who ended up buying, the crab cakes, lobster, and all this stuff. I'm like, wait a minute.
Lobster?
It was, it's a long story, but it's like, wait a minute, why are you paying the nachos? You drove a Ferrari here. I'm taking the subway home.
Yeah.
Let's switch. I'll buy the nachos and the ice cream, and you can buy the crab cakes and the...
Have you ever been in a position where an athlete made behind-the-scenes calls to try and get a free vacation or a free car or free something?
I've never been privy to that.
They live for free. I am telling you this, and I thought all famous people were like that. Ak, you know what I'm talking about. Don't famous people try and get free stuff?
Absolutely.
That's how they got rich and famous.
Exactly.
By hoarding all their money.
The more famous you are, the less you pay.
It's a number one rule in life.
That's because everyone wants you to...
It's true.
But be at their restaurant and be seen at their place.
Yes. Then it becomes an expectation, I think.
Oh, maybe.
Look at the NFL where they rookie haze and they make the rookies take them out to dinner. I don't think that's just hazing. I think they want a free meal. I'm serious.
I will say the one story, and I guess you would know better because you have somewhat of a relationship with him. Charles Barkley apparently pays for everything.
Oh, yeah. No, I've never been at a meal with him, but he's the best of all time.
We'll have to do that.
I think he's also funded multiple casinos in Las Vegas with the amount of blackjack that he's played.
It does not seem like money is not safe in his wallet, I'm going to assume. But he's doing
got
fine.
A lot of it, I think. So.
No, I think he's doing great.
Something tells me he's probably put a couple of ladies through college. Just a guess.
Okay.
Shot in the dark. Thank you.
Yeah.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I kid, of course. There we go. So that was the advice doc. I'm just joking.
Charles Barkley has said nice things about this show. You can't say that. Edit that out of the podcast.
We are his favorite show, his favorite sports show. I'm kidding. Charles, I'd say that to his face. That's the thing about Barkley. You got to say it to his face. Coming up, the dumb idea of the week. We've got that for you. And this one is a doozy. We'll get to that after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Only a half hour away from the bell ringing on NBA free agency, and champions such as Draymond Green, Kyrie Irving, and Fred VanVleet are all available, as well as former MVP Russell Westbrook. Westbrook's former teammate James Harden exercised his $35 million option yesterday, but isn't staying in Philly, working with the Sixers to get a trade done. The Nets reportedly sent Joe Harris to the Pistons along with 2 second-round draft picks to clear up nearly $20 million in cap space. Stanley Cup hero Aiden Hill has re-signed re-sign with the Golden Knights. The goalie gets a 2-year extension worth nearly $10 million. At Wrigley this afternoon, the Cubs pounded the Guardians 10-1 as Justin Steele won his 9th, giving up just 3 hits and 6 1/3 scoreless innings. On the last day of June, the Marlins' Luis Arraez is chasing 400. He goes into tonight's series in Atlanta, hitting .392. Last night, he was named an All-Star for the second time.
I almost cried there, emotional, but especially the game we play right now. I give it to my teammates, to my family, to the fans to support me.
The Marlins open this series against the first-place Braves, 6 games back, with both riding 5-game winning streaks. Summer check.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. On this Friday, heading into a holiday weekend, really. July 4th is on a Tuesday. We'll get to the worst idea of the week right after our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. This weekend also brought to you by Casamigos because that's where I'll be hanging out on the Casamigos deck. Okay, today, snapshot of the show, shot of the day, is when famous and brilliant actor Robert Wuhl, multi-Emmy winner, writer, producer, comedian, all of that, had been in multiple great sports movies, as that has been the theme of the Maggie and Perloff show this week. He joined us earlier in the show and told us the one thing that can ruin a sports movie.
A couple of things that turn me off. As much as I like sport movie, I'm tough. For example, any movie that where somebody starts clapping and then another guy starts clapping and then the whole team starts clapping goes on my FOS list. That's full of, as you can figure out. So Hoosiers is right out the window, okay? I like Hoosiers, and I watch it all the time because to me it's a good movie with an outstanding performance by Gene Hackman. But when any movie does that, goodbye. It's like, that's not real. You've all been in sports. Have you ever seen that in any locker room? No, only in movies.
There you go. So no slow claps for the Emmy winner, Robert Wuhl, formerly
What's
Arliss.
a slow clap in Hoosiers?
I think he was also talking about slow clap. He also said he didn't like things that come down to the big game.
Okay.
The final game. Now, you guys know A League of Their Own was on my baseball list.
Right.
My number 2 on my baseball list. And that kind of comes down to a big game.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to it than that.
Well, he was talking about, he had a bunch of movies that had big, Best of Times, the Ron Shelton's first script, that came down to the big game. I don't know. I mean, he actually had a really good point. He goes, minor league stories last longer.
Yeah.
That was really interesting because
in Bull Durham, of
it's
course.
almost like you could explore the human condition more in a minor league movie. Slapshot, Bull Durham, Semi-Pro.
Yeah.
Well, Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, maybe not on that list.
Well, that's why I thought Major League was an achievement, because you're really invested in the characters, but they make a point to tell you they're not making any money. They're all playing for the league minimum. It's not like I guess Corbin Burnson's character is making a lot of money in that movie, and he's like
he's not going all out for the grounders.
Villain, sort of.
But don't forget Major League Back to the Minors, which was also minors. Major League 3 starring Scott Bakula instead of Tom Berenger.
Yeah, rough. I love Bakula, though. Not in movies so much, but
it's funny. Scott Bakula is awesome, but he never really translated to the big screen, did he?
He was in Quantum Leap.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Can you name another Scott Bakula thing? Because I cannot.
He wasn't in Northern Exposure, was he? That was someone else.
He was not.
I get my 90s sitcoms.
Yeah, what the heck was Scott Bakula was in Back to the Minors? Not that bad, by the way.
Yeah, you guys kill me for liking Caddyshack 2, but you're all into Major League 2, Back to the Minors.
I think it was Major League 3. It was Major League 3.
Oh, pardon me. Okay, let's get to our worst idea of the week.
The bad idea of the week.
I mean, in the fight that no one has ever asked for, I give to you Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg in some kind of cage match. I guess these two guys wanted to do fight, like physically fight each other.
Right.
Which is kind of hilarious because I think we all find them both like rather distasteful. So to watch them get kind of hurt and maimed might be cathartic in some kind of way. But they, I guess, are talking about a fight. Dana White has gotten involved in this, so he's trying to figure out the parameters. And now the Ministry of Culture in Italy, in Rome, has allegedly reached out to see if they want to fight in the Colosseum. Why would we degrade one of the great structures, living ruins, a time portal back to an ancient time? We're going to sully that up with Facebook versus Tesla? Boo.
Oh, I don't care about that. I just want to know who do you think is going to win? Because I heard Zuckerberg's been training for 2 years in jiu-jitsu, but everyone says Musk is gigantic. Did you know that?
No, and I don't care. These guys are...
I'm totally down for this. I don't know why
Listen.
Who cares about the Coliseum? This is Musk versus Zuckerberg.
Who cares on the Coliseum? The update here from TMZ says the ministry first reached out to Zuckerberg, then the request was forwarded to Dana White. There was a follow-up call and a call set for next week. The ministry added, quote, if Zuckerberg and Musk want to perform in the Coliseum, they would have to make a non-violent challenge. The sources are scoffing at this, saying the ministry reached out because of the fight challenge. So if you could follow all that, now it's a he said on the Ministry of Culture in Rome. I mean, are we just in a dystopian, like, this is something The Onion would come up with, or, I don't know. This doesn't seem real.
Yeah,
He's sorry, go ahead.
Well, by the way, the Coliseum's in the news where they just caught a guy who put his girlfriend's name, carved it into the side of the Coliseum. So I think that I'm not sure modern people really appreciate the Coliseum.
What do you mean, modern people?
I don't feel like you sound kind of old school. You sound kind of old school here, Maggie, not wanting to see Zuckerberg versus Musk. Did you know that Musk was 6'2" and Zuckerberg's 5'7"? You're telling me you don't want to see this fight?
Wait, no. I'm sorry. The shine is off of both of these guys. Whatever we thought, like these genius guys. And sure,
I'm
they can
sorry,
be geniuses,
I totally disagree.
But I think the shine's off both of them.
Even if you don't like them, don't you want to see them fight?
No, I don't. Well, maybe I kind of want to see both of them kind of get maimed because I feel like we are... Maybe they owe it to us to take a couple hits across the face.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be fun to see them. I think maybe you're villainizing them a little bit. They have... they created gigantic American companies. They deserve some credit for that.
I guess, but I don't want to...
Employed a lot of people.
I know, but they also just have laid off tons of people, too. Listen, that happens. I get it. I don't know. I find some of the things they've done to just be pretty distasteful. There was like a whole thing about Facebook just like hands off when they needed to step in with more misinformation, disinformation. And it's like, oh, we're not, responsible for this. We're just a platform. It's like, well, people are spreading terrible, false, racist, anti-Semitic, all these things, and like you're not doing anything about it, which I didn't like.
So you should want to see them fight then.
I guess that means I should want to see them fight in the Coliseum. Ugh.
Well, okay. What if it was in Vegas?
It feels like it's more fitting for like Reno.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Reno, by the way. We're on in Reno. We love you, Reno.
Wait, what are you talking about? You're telling me Vegas would not take this fight?
Of course they would.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to give them the biggest platform, which they already own two of the biggest platforms.
Are you out of your mind? You think Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are going to have trouble getting the biggest possible platform?
They are. This is my own thing. I think
you want them to fight in Utica?
I think that yes, Utica is a better one. I think being billionaires, I think that's amoral. So this is how I feel about these two guys. Who needs to be a billionaire? You don't need all that money. You could solve so many of our world's problems. Now I'm sounding preachy. If you weren't hoarding billions and billions of dollars to, do whatever.
There's 7 minutes. Can we get back to the sports comedies?
No, let's talk more about billionaires. I don't know. Would you watch this? You'd pay $50 for this or whatever the paper?
I'm not. I definitely pirated it, ironically, off the internet. But yes, I would definitely watch Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk in a UFC fight. And you know who else would? Maggie Gray.
You think eventually I'll tune in?
Oh, how could you not want to watch that? I mean, that's the thing.
Connor, are you buying this?
100%.
Yeah.
Fight of the century. I think it'd be a bigger fight than Pacquiao versus Mayweather. Higher viewership numbers.
It's going to be worse, though. And Pacquiao Mayweather wasn't even great.
Our other option is watching Jake Paul and somebody. I mean, it's not like there's this great group of fights. I mean, I understand we talked about the Bud Crawford fight coming up in Vegas. That's a big deal. But the fight game ain't what it used to be. You're not seeing Ali Frazier anymore. I think we got to get Zuckerberg and Musk in the ring.
I think it's mostly about these two guys. I also think there's like a little bit of mystery around both of them, you know? Yeah, a little bit.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, there's an air of, you know, they're super rich. They've come up with these incredible ideas, or, you know, people call them geniuses and stuff like that. This is going to take a little of the mystery away because they're going to look like dopes, and it's going to take them down a notch. We've talked about if we were if we owned a sports team, would we sit courtside or in the suite? Yeah, and we were like, well, if we sit courtside, then everyone's going to know that we're dorks. If you sit in the suite, you get to keep the air of mystery. I think less is more with these guys.
I see what you're saying. Physically, yes, there's mystery. I mean, they had a whole movie about Mark Zuckerberg's rise to fame. So his life is not a mystery. It's been it's well documented.
Right, the rise of Facebook for sure. But like him specifically.
Yeah, like here's the thing. You don't know he's short. I had no idea he was 5'7".
Exactly, you don't know much about him.
But he's apparently been training really hard in jiu-jitsu. So I'm curious about where this goes.
Him and Tua?
You don't get to see.
Isn't Tua also doing jiu-jitsu?
The best thing is you don't get to see non-athletes compete at the highest level. It's always fascinating to see what these guys are like. I don't know. I just want to see two random guys like put their reputation on the line for something they're not good at.
This is the other danger. When you are watching something on TV and it's a sporting event, there's a certain expectation of what it's going to look like. Like even when the match happens where these guys are not professional golfers, it's like, uh-oh, wow. You don't look like Tiger. You don't look like Phil. You might still be good, but you don't look like these guys. There's an expectation of that it's going to look really good because we're used to, if a sport is televised, that means it's at the highest level.
Right, which is one of the appeals of the match is similar, that you're seeing a guy who's not a professional golfer. Now, I mean, we know the handicaps of those guys. I think Steph's scratch.
No, I know. These guys are particularly good.
Yeah.
But if you're used to watching, you know, if you think you're tuning in for Mayweather Pacquiao and you're going to get Musk Zuckerberg, you're going to be wildly disappointed.
No,
you never know. I mean, he's been training. They've both been training. Maybe Musk takes down Zuckerberg, goes on to Bill Gates, takes him on, then Jake Paul, and then it just goes from there. You never know.
Yeah.
First of all, any Mayweather fight is the most boring purchase you're ever going to make in your life. So I think
it's a counterpuncher.
I think 1,000% more people. I don't think they're going to charge for it, right? They can't. If you're a billionaire, you can't charge $70.
How do you think they got all these billions? By giving things away?
Pay-per-view? I don't know.
Mining our data?
I don't know. Yeah,
my own.
Yeah, they'll be basically. You're right. You don't have to pay $70. You have to give your email, and then they'll do evil things with that.
All they need is your social security address and your mother's maiden name. You're good.
All right. Yeah. Is there any other big tech guys who like to wrestle or anything?
I don't know. Who like
Jack Dorsey? Maybe he's available.
Jack Dorsey's wandering a beach somewhere right now. The Twitter guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The old Twitter guy. Yeah, no, Maggie, I think this is, if you don't like the tech billionaires, get them all in the UFC and watch them beat each other up and embarrass themselves.
And the Roman Coliseum is the grandest of all stages.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned, is Gladiator a sports movie?
Oh, that's a good one. Way to bring it full circle there, Connor.
How about that?
That's pretty good.
I think it is.
Yeah. It might be, right? That was the sport of the time.
Well, okay.
Big fight scenes.
What about futuristic fight movies like Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh man, that's
like those. If Gladiator,
that's a chase. Running Man is a chase.
If you're opening Gladiator up, yeah, that's really, really good. Wow.
Top Gun's kind of like a volleyball movie, also.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Mostly volleyball, a little bit of aircraft flying.
No. If you're wearing jeans, it's not an athletic competition. And we all know he was jeans, no shirt.
Yeah, of course, just the dog tags, jeans, no shirt. We'll never forget that. Gladiator, as I declare as the emperor, thumbs up.
Are you not entertained?
Yes, we are thoroughly entertained. Hope you guys are entertained.
If there's a single ball that flies across the screen anywhere in the movie, you're calling it a sports movie.
My threshold is very low on what's a sports movie.
You're like Lawrence of Arabia because there was a fast camel in it. I don't even know what you're doing here.
Oh, in Swingers, they were playing NHL 94 hockey movie.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
It's not me. It's Roenick. He's so good.
Thank you to Stu Kovacs. Thank you to Connor Green. Fantastic week. Mike Samter, too. Thank you to Robert Wuhl, who joined us, the award-winning actor, Yaron Weitzman, talking about Harden and NBA free agency, the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers. To all of our listeners, thank you so much. Have a great holiday weekend, everyone. Be safe.
You're in a 5-minute break.